maybe not even StreamYard, maybe just going directly through YouTube, because I'm not too sure if you know this, but YouTube, they also have like their own live thingy, right? I've never really messed with it. But I know that they have their own live streaming site or whatever. You just basically go on YouTube and you press that little plus sign and you can go live. I've never messed with it. Um, and I guess maybe we just always got stuck using StreamYard for whatever reason or another, right? But man, StreamYard is horrible, bro. Ever since they ever since they like moved everything around, and now it's hard for me to really see like the comments and respond to them and post them up on the channel. It's just a mess. I really don't like this, man. But anyways, we're gonna go live now. uh Actually, I guess we have been going live, so we're gonna be hitting the jam right now. Just give me a few seconds. And all right, here we go. Well, first off, I gotta all right, here we go. All right, all right, all right. 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 Ladies and gentlemen, good morrow to you. This is Warp Speed, and thank you very much. I hope you are doing well of health and the sane of mind. And thank you to Dream123 for hopping on this here live. But we're going to be discussing, man, I don't know what, the more frustrating things about the sport of boxing, but in the good way, right? Because what do we have presentable to us today? About three or four spectacular boxing events, which just makes it very frustrating to be a boxing fan, because you really have to love flipping channels, right? You gotta channel surf and you gotta expend money and things of that sort, which I guess it's a very good problem to have, right? In a capitalist society, in a world that presents to us many options and many ways to spend our money, we get to choose by what we want to see or experience. And most of these watches or experiences will come by the expenditure of our hard-earned greenbacks. So, with that being said, Dream, we have another spectacular weekend of boxing. Where we're going to be addressing those things and the news surrounding those fights for today. But man, oh man, how have you been, brother?
Good. Dude, I cannot believe it, man.
What? What?
I literally just tried to say good, but I had to talk in this manner right here.
Oh, what
Uh,
happened?
yeah. So that's why I wasn't saying anything because I was a little afraid of the I guess my voice is good. I just had to speak up a little more. But yeah, I feel like I didn't even do that much yelling yesterday. I went to the rodeo yesterday and
What is this? Your first rodeo?
no, nah.
Oh,
I
okay.
wasn't sure if that was like a like you're being if that was like a saying. I don't know. But I didn't know if you're
Oh
being
yeah, that is a
sarcastic.
saying. Your
Yeah,
first rodeo.
yeah. I was like, no, it's not my first rodeo, but yeah, it's obviously I've been to a handful of them throughout my childhood and throughout my 20s and all that. But I even seen your son, so
What's he doing? Picking up girls, huh?
yeah, yeah, it's his type of vibe, you know. But there is a section where it's like, you know, for like people my age. I'm not crazy old, you know. I'm like it's just I'm another tier. Look, I'm approaching you know, unk age, you know. But yeah,
What is
it's
unk age? When does unk age start,
I'm
bro?
not sure.
Because I know I'm
Mid,
unk for sure. Some unk.
yeah, yeah, mid 30s, mid 30s. I think big bro. That's where I'm at right now.
You big bro.
Yeah, I'm big bro right now. So um, and honestly, whenever you're born, like that's your timestamp. You know, it's like me and Damien.
Mhm.
There's no, we're never. I mean, sorry, dude. Well, me and I keep forgetting his. Yeah. Anyways, I keep forgetting his nickname, but yeah, dude. It's uh, we're always gonna be like, you know, like a certain amount of years, uh, uh, you know, ahead of each other. So once I'm like Unk, he's gonna be big bro to somebody else. You know, that's what I was trying to say. But yeah, man, it was somewhat of a long day yesterday, but I'm here, able to do a podcast or
Mhm.
live with you. So it was pretty fun yesterday, bro. Honestly, I'm looking forward to today's fights. Um, and yeah, man, sometimes I like to watch fights just, you know, me by myself sometimes, you know, but
This guy.
you know, because I get to like switch over fights, you know, and
Mhm.
without really messing up with anyone else's you know, like rhythm or I don't know, you know, I'm pretty sure everyone's tuning into the Manny Pacquiao fights, you know, more than anything.
Whoa, whoa, whoa! So you're gonna skip through Bam Bam Rodriguez versus
No,
Kafu to watch Manny or
no, I'm just saying that's the general concession, I
consensus?
guess. Yeah, consensus. Like I feel like everyone's gonna be doing that, you know. But no, don't get me wrong, bro. I want to watch that. You know, so many fights I want to watch today.
It's
And I got some,
overwhelming.
yeah, and I got some solid bets today. You know that I feel like that I
You and your
feel,
best, bro. We're gonna go through them, but
yeah,
okay. So a little bit about me, right? I'm born and raised in this little town of Salinas, California. Beautiful little town. It's a country town. No big deal. Nothing big happens here, except maybe a couple of, I don't know, what would you say, murders here and there. But otherwise, it's a pretty relaxing,
yeah. It's been
leave me
calm.
alone kind of. Yes, okay. It's been calm. I agree with you. For the most part, it's a very sleepy town. We mind our own. Everybody's quite peaceful and hardworking, right? And one of the big events that comes around every year is the California Rodeo Salinas, which is a 4 day event, really five if you consider the professional bull riding event, and maybe six if you consider the pre-rodeo concerts that take place a week or two before. This year around, we had Blake Sheldon, right? And but it's really a big month in this small little town, and I've been living here all of my life, and I love Rodeo Week. And I'm sure that when I was a small kid, my parents didn't take me because we were well-to-do for a little bit, but then things happened. Somebody broke into our home. They ransacked our home. They left us completely broke. They robbed us dry, and then of course that set us back about a decade before we were
Damn.
able to recover. Yeah, man. Once you lose everything, once they rob every single thing, your identity and whatnot, especially back in the day, there's really no recovery, right? Um, Except with time and savings and sacrifice, and that's where I guess I got my, like maybe my work ethic or my respect for work, the opportunities given to me. About I think I've also respected eating home cooked meals instead of going out and things of that sort, because for the longest time we basically had just the staple foods, rice and beans and you know traditional stuff for Mexican American types, because we couldn't afford anything else, because they robbed us dry, right? We didn't have nothing. And I'm sure they had some money in the bank, but I'm talking about the devastation, the psychological devastation that occurs to an individual when you're stripped of every single thing that you've worked for in a material sense, when every single material example of your hard work, blood, sweat, and tears is taken from you. It leaves some type of scar, right? So what I'm trying to say by that is that maybe during that time we didn't go to the rodeo, but as far back as my memory allows me to recollect, I've been a rodeo boy. It's probably my favorite thing to do, right?
Mm.
Besides mountain biking and I don't know, watching boxing, right? But I love this week, and I've never missed it. Ever since I remember, I never miss it. But the one thing I've never gone to is a professional bull riding event. I've never been to a PBR, and a PBR is a professional circuit bull only, bucking event, right? It's the best riders of bulls in the world. They go all these parts of the world, and then they come to one of the major stops in the circuit, which is Salinas. I think it's the third or fourth biggest stop, and then they bring their best, and we get to see these guys, these brave men riding these incredibly strong and huge monstrous animals. And it was the first time in my life, man, the first time in my life that I've ever gone to one of those events. i
Mm.
i, I thought that I would die never going to one of these, because these things are so popular, they sell out real quick, right? And this time around they just landed in my lap, right? My nephew
Mm.
bought all kinds of tickets to enter this thing because he wanted to invite girls, and we convinced him. We were like, me and my son were like,
Mhm.
bro, don't go and take girls. You want to like go and meet girls, but it
Yeah,
was me and my
yeah.
son working together to try and get him to give us the tickets for free.
Mm.
We were trying to con him so that he could fork over 2 tickets for myself and my wife to go, right? So yeah, we
Yeah,
were able to fool him, and we went to our very first PBR. Man, one of the best things I've ever done in my life, bro. It was so
yeah.
cool. In fact, did you ride one of those mechanical bulls? Have you done that yet?
I mean, in general, yeah.
You've
Uh,
done that before?
like years ago, bro. Like I
What
was in high
happened?
school, I think. Nothing. I mean, it depends how how hard they go, right? Like it's being controlled sometimes by a computer, sometimes being controlled by a person. Um, so I mean, it depends, bro. Cause yeah, it just all depends, bro. Like if it's a computer, bro, like I heard that it's programmed to go hard or whatever, and yeah. So, uh, do you have you?
Yeah, I just did it for the first time, and it turns out that I'm a natural. Like I'm very good at bull riding, bro.
uh,
And I found out that about a 45-minute drive from us in the small town called Morgan Hill, they actually do give
mm,
bull riding lessons. So I'm probably gonna, hit that up, because that was one of my dreams as a child, right? My
mm,
grandfather, he was from the nation state of Mexico, and he used to have these bulls. And when the three or so times that I went to Mexico, one of those times I was 8 or 9, and we went to this state in Mexico called Michoacan. And when we went to
mm,
Michoacan, well, they have all these.
Michoacan.
Bro, I'm in America, bro. I'm an American, bro.
Oh,
Okay, so Michoacan, right? We went to this place
oh,
called Michoacan, and my
Michigan.
grandfather. Yeah, or Michigan. Yeah, it was the ones that know about it. We call it Michigan, but we went to Michigan, Mexico, and we had. I
Mm.
went there and we visited my grandfather's property for the first time. He had all kinds of bulls, all kinds of bulls. But the most
Mm.
majestic animal that I ever seen was one of his bulls. It's a Cebu type. Cebu is a type of bull. They're like between white, brown, and yellow, and they have like this big old bulge in their back. It looks almost
Yeah,
like a buffalo,
camel.
and I think it's called Cebu because they have a lot of them over there in the Philippines, right? But
Mm.
I looked at that animal and I was like, what the what does my grandfather need with this animal? And he's like, oh, we have men that ride them. And I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, yeah, we ride them and then we hop on them and then they try and kick us off and we're holding on for dear life. And he took me to this thing called a jaripeo, which a jaripeo is basically like a Mexican version of a rodeo. And
Mm.
when I seen these animals in action, that's that moment right there. I knew I wanted to ride bulls. I wanted to be a bull rider.
Mm.
Never happened.
Yeah,
Obviously, I've never rode a bull before in my life. So,
I'm
but
good.
I
It's a
love that. You're good with that?
yeah, it's a car, bro. Like it's a car with that. It's just as powerful as a car, bro. Like as far as like torque, like
Mhm.
bro, these things can really like I've seen videos, man, of obviously owners who abuse their cows or their bulls or whatever end up killing them because they retaliate and they don't forget, bro. Like they're smart, and it's crazy because you see them. If you look at them, they'll look at right in your eyes, bro. Like they're humanized or something. Uh,
Mhm.
but yeah, it's just they're just way too big, bro. Like they're just way too big, and yeah, I heard you're not even supposed to turn your back to them. Because sometimes that's how dogs are too. Sometimes if you start running, it'll run after you. Um, but yeah, those freaking bulls, I'm never gonna get on one for sure. I've seen them kill their owners, bro. Like in the video, I've seen videos of them like just goring their owners and shit, and you just hear the owner just getting crushed to death. You know,
What
and
kind of videos are you watching and where do you watch them, bro?
some of them are like on Facebook. I've seen a video on Facebook of a
Yep.
bull of this owner. He was kind of abusive a little bit, and he was
Mhm.
messing with him. He was like hitting him for no reason, and then he turns his back, and then the bull just rams him, bro, to the fence. And we seen him come at him, and he he didn't have enough speed to outrun him, and just ended up getting gored, and he got gored to the ground, and then you could just hear he's trying to breathe, and then he's just like they're just dead, you know.
Well,
So,
so that's the thing about abusing anything, right? Eventually, there will be there will come a moment when the abuse on the abused individual and or thing will just be intolerable, and then they will just take action, right? They have to dig absolutely deeply into the last sense of their bravery and courage to overcome the fear that you've inculcated in this individual or thing because of the abuse over the long term, right? Because that's the one thing, right? Abused individuals are terrified, they're startled, they're stunted, and they don't necessarily take action. That's why sometimes abuse lasts for the rest of their life, right? But for an animal and or any abused thing to take action to attack their aggressor, their abuser, that means they're digging deep, right? Speaking of abuse, we're talking about elder abuse right here, right? Here we have the Mexican DMG Good Even, well, not even Good Even for Good Moral to You. He says that Mario Barrios will be charged for elder abuse tonight with Manny Pacquiao. Let's talk about that, Dream. Okay, you said that the consensus is that everybody's going to watch Manny Pacquiao
yeah,
over, about a 3 year absence in the sport, fighting Mario Barrios, who beat the guy who beat Manny Pacquiao his last fight. He fought Yordenis Ugas. He beat him to a pulp. You say, well, Mexican DMG says that it's going to be elder abuse. Let me ask you, what do you think is going to happen tonight between Manny Pacquiao and Mario Barrios?
Um,
Exactly.
I,
Treat animals like family members. I like that way of the exploding fist ninja.
look,
That's a
I
funny name,
think,
by the way.
like, I think I've been listening to Roy a lot. Roy's been on the headlines a lot because of the whole Floyd thing. But I remember him saying a couple weeks ago, there's a lot of fighters right now. The game in general has lost a lot of IQ. You know, a lot of the fighters aren't moving like they used to, like they did back in the day. It was more of a chess match back in the day. Though there's still those guys like the Shakurs and the Devons that turn it into that type of fight, um, which is the beauty of boxing. Um, but with with these other guys, with these newer welterweights, I'm saying Mario just doesn't have that IQ. You know, he's probably the weakest link out of all the welterweights, bro. Like he did not knock out a dude named Fabian Maidana. I think he's a cousin or brothers with Marcos Maidana. And that dude's a come forward fighter, you know, and he took all Mario Barrios' like he and I think he could have like got him out of there. It's just Mario Barrios doesn't have the IQ to finish, you know, like he has these 3 or 4 punch combinations and then he doesn't know what to do after that, you know, and it's like you don't follow up, you just throw the same combinations, almost like you fail to switch things up a bit, you know. And he also fights in spurts, uh
Mhm.
and he doesn't like keep your hands in your face. He's usually like boom, 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 like he's letting some off and then he's like away from you. And I think that's where Pacquiao can take advantage, bro. I think Pacquiao is gonna win, bro. Like I don't know if he can knock him out, but I wouldn't be surprised. I got more confidence in the IQ fighter in Manny because he has the footwork. The footwork is levels above Mario Barrios, and
Mhm.
I think he's actually in for a long night, bro. And they,
What?
and honestly, bro, and this is the
Whoa.
thing, bro. This is the thing. People look at the Ugas fight,
Mhm.
and they say, "Oh, Ugas just got his ass whipped by Mario Barrios, right?"
Mhm.
And
Oh,
I
I
think
I agree for the
I
most
think
part, right?
yeah, he did though. You know, he did
Mhm.
get his ass beat, but it's like you dropped him, but he kept getting up. You dropped him, kept getting up. You know, it's like you don't
Mhm.
know how to finish, you know? So Manny Pacquiao knows how to finish. And I think also
That's true.
you gotta remember Ugas is an Olympian. He's got that style to keep Manny Pacquiao at bay. That was a perfect styles fight for Ugas, and it was a real dangerous fight for Manny. Manny didn't um, come out like all messed up or brutalized or anything like that, but Mario Barrios has to do that. But I don't think he can do it to Manny, bro, because he just doesn't have the the combination. He can't set it up that great. Um, don't get me wrong, he's lengthy, but he ain't no Antonio Margarito, you know. So I think my Manny Pacquiao is going to knock him out, bro. I think he's gonna knock him out.
Well, you said that Manny Pacquiao can finish him off, but he wasn't able to finish off Thurman,
Oh, but
right?
Thurman's
And
a
then, but
harder. Thurman. Look what Thurman did. The Mario Barrios did, though. You know, like he actually hurt him a couple times. He couldn't go past that strength. That one time. That one. That two. I mean, that Keith Thurman has. You know, like you got to look at that. Keith Thurman is very slept on, bro. Like he beat Mario Barrios, and Mario Barrios and Keith got his ass whooped, bro. Like by Manny. So I don't know, man. I also think Manny wasn't prepared when obviously he was prepared for Errol Spence, and then got a late last minute replacement with Ugas, who's actually like a high level boxer. It's like, dude, that type of switch is hard to adapt, you know. And Manny Pacquiao wasn't getting dominated; he was just getting like outsmarted almost, you know, like he was just getting beat to the punch because he's so lengthy and that's his style. and he has the jab. Mario Barrios doesn't have Ugas's jab, So I think
Mario Barrios doesn't have Ugas's jab. Let me think about this. Mario Barrios doesn't have Ugas's jab. Yeah, I would agree. I'm pretty sure that's
that's an
uh
Olympic jab, you
yeah,
know.
that's an Olympia. Yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah, you're right.
Mario Barrios couldn't even make it to the Olympic trials. So he was still good, but that's the reason why is because he started out at 120 or 130 something, right? So
Mhm.
this guy's a smaller guy, coming up in a sense to fight a smaller guy who's filled in and with
Mhm.
experience. He does not hit as hard as Juan Manuel Marquez. He cannot put him to sleep like he did. And I think you need to do that almost, or you need to have him quit on the stool because he's so old, maybe, but you're pretty much fighting fire with fire, because Manny's one of a kind, bro. Like he has the resilience, the heart, and Mario Barrios has never seen anything like this. Trust me. I think
I think you're right. I think, well, I guess it's safe bet to say that nobody has ever seen anybody like Manny Pacquiao, right? Um, I mean, I think Manny Pacquiao is the most unique, explosive fighter that I've ever seen in my life. Completely relentless, high output, precise punching, creative punch selection, speed, power, endurance. Um, Stamina, everything. I've said it before. In my opinion, Manny Pacquiao is the greatest fighter that's ever lived. Right. No ifs, ands, or buts. You can put him in your top five. You can put him in your top 20, whatever. To me, it's number one, especially for the modern era, which really encompasses almost 30 years of his life, right? In those 30 years, in those 3 decades or so that we've seen him fight, he's been around the same time as Nonito Donaire. He is the greatest fighter. And the reason why he's so successful, even though we've seen him for almost 3 decades, is because not until you're there in the ring with him will you know you've never fought nobody like him, right? You can watch all the film, you can prepare, you can
yeah.
do this and that, but look at it, these fighters. They've seen them, they've grown up with them. They just don't know what it feels like fighting with them. Now, here's the one thing about Manny, bro. He's the closest thing to 50 that I can think of any fighter. I think if he becomes a champion today, he's going to become the oldest living champion, or maybe even the oldest champion that's ever
Um,
gotten the belt.
so it's gonna be if he wins, he's gonna
Mhm.
be the oldest welterweight. He won't be the oldest champion of all time, like throughout all weight classes.
Who
He's
was
just
that?
gonna
George Foreman or who?
not well, it was George Foreman, but what's his name? Bernard Hopkins, I think, beat him.
Oh yeah, B Hop. Yeah, he went
Yeah,
like almost 49, huh?
I think so.
Man,
And
B Hop's a
yeah,
beast, bro.
yeah, and then look at him, bro. Like just the power ended up getting to him. All these younger cats ended up uh punishing him, bro, and actually and he did a really good job hugging. Eventually there's only so much you can do, man. Like
We call it clinching, bro, where I come from.
clinching, my bad. Yeah. But no, I'm saying to me hugging, clinching, like I don't know, hugging does sound bad, but to me it's like the same thing. I'd be like, hey, hug him. What you doing? You're hurt or something, but he does what you need to do. He behaves like a fighter, bro, and he actually that's what you need to do to actually last a long time in the sport, bro. You can't just be going for knockouts all the time. Uh, and that's what Manny does, bro. Manny, like Mario Barrios is probably gonna feel confident in there because of how much IQ and how much patience Manny Pacquiao has. And he's gonna let him get closer. I think Manny's gonna knock him out, bro. Like I really do think that. I think Fabian Maidana had him hurt too, and that guy was fighting fire with fire, which he shouldn't have done, but he needed to do it to actually uh show a chink in the armor, on Barrios. But yeah, I just feel like Like Manny, bro, is just he's an ageist wonder. Don't get me wrong. I just feel like 49, 40s is a new 30, because of what we eat and the technology that we have. It's allowed pretty much everyone in all athletic fields to compete at a higher level, I feel like. And I think Manny's one of those guys that, I mean, he's really old school, right? But I also feel like Filipinos, they eat really healthy in the off season as well. That's what they eat throughout all seasons. That's like they eat the same thing that they would during not the exact same thing. Obviously, they eat a little healthier, but I'm pretty sure they still eat the same rice, the same eggs, and the same spam, and they put sriracha on it, and they mix it all together. Like that's what they eat, bro.
The same adobo, pork
Yeah,
adobo, chicken
adobo. Like
adobo.
it doesn't change, bro. Like in the off, like during diet, non-diet, or like that's what.
You're
So
man in the same way that you're complimenting Filipinos for their steadfast way of being dedicated and eating the same thing. You're basically saying that they're very limited with their culinary options, bro. You're saying that they don't know how to cook. I mean, they eat beans. I mean, they eat rice and chicken and pork, and that's it, right?
well, they
With a
don't
little
make
bit of
beans, right?
racha.
They don't make beans, but they are like they got some Spanish in them, you know.
That's true.
Like
That's true.
they do got some Spanish in them, so they're probably like a healthier version of a Mexican, except there's a bunch of hills. There's a
Oh
bunch of hills.
man,
There's a bunch of hills. So they ended up getting calves on the way out, from all the farming that they do,
that's
'cause
true. That's true.
so I
That's
think that's what it is.
hilarious.
Yeah. Well, I think people in Santa Cruz, I think a lot of people in Santa Cruz have big calves. And I've noticed this, bro, because they're all walking around Santa Cruz up and down hills, you know?
Mhm.
And I look at that. I pay attention to these things, man. But
You
yeah.
know, the Mexican cheese stated that that Mario Barrios is going to be accused of abusing elders by the time that
Mm,
this fight is over,
mm.
and there is that consensus. Also, there is there is a I don't know about a majority of people, but I believe it is a more of a majority that think that Mario Barrios is going to beat Manny Pacquiao, and not only beat him, officially retire him. You know, we've talked about Manny Pacquiao's quote unquote retirement, right? Manny Pacquiao was not retired because of his own undoing, right? He didn't say, okay, I'm officially retired. He never announced it. That's one of the things that I hold against him, right? The fact that he was never respectful of the sport and of his fans to just say, you know what, this 3 year hiatus basically means I'm retiring. Unless, of course, some easy belt comes up and I get an opportunity to fight for it through all the shenanigans and my ability to sell tickets. If something comes up, then I'll come back to the sport. And that's basically what happened. Mario Barrios fell into his lap. Manny Pacquiao, his last fight was an utter defeat to Jordanis Ugas. Like literally, Jordanis Ugas beat Manny Pacquiao like no one's ever beaten him before. He
Uh,
outclassed him. He outboxed him. He did everything. He made him miss. He just looked so bad out there,
unprepared.
right?
I think he just was
Yes,
unprepared.
okay, so again, the lack of preparation only seems to indicate that at 45 years of age or whatever he was when he fought Yordenis Ugas, maybe yeah, 44, 45, that he was no longer preparing himself for fighting because he probably wasn't his heart wasn't in it anymore, right? I mean,
And
he had just last beaten Thurman, who was an undefeated fighter. He barely won a win there. Yeah, he did knock down Keith Thurman, but otherwise it was becoming a very hellacious fight for him at the end. Thurman was having some success. He hurt Manny Pacquiao a couple of times to the body, if I'm not mistaken. Um, but it was a close win, and then he gets to fight Jordanis Ugas, and his lack of preparation or whatever you say can it be attributed to that loss made him look like he was out the door. And guess what? For 3 years of his life, he basically was out the door. So, what is if we are outsiders? We're just watching this man develop through his career and fight the way that he fights and take these hiatuses for so long. Any person would think, you know what, man, he's done. Man, he's washed. Manny's career is over. Instead, what happens is he gets to fight for a championship belt, even though he hasn't fought in 3 years, even though his last fight was an utter defeat. The reason Manny Pacquiao is back into the sport of boxing is because the chicanery and the shenanigans of the sport allow him to come back. Otherwise, I assure you, if it wasn't Mario Barrios that he was going to be fighting for a belt, if it was, let's say, somebody like Boots Ennis or even Connor Ben or any of those other very feisty competitive fighters, he would have taken it. He's only fighting Mario Barrios because he's PBC and because it thinks of him as the easiest soft touch in that division. What do you think about that?
I'm sorry, say it again. I was texting something.
Manny Pacquiao thinks Mario Barrios is food, and that's why he's fighting.
Um, yeah, and I just feel like he feels like he also still has it. You know, the speed's probably still there. Um, yeah, bro, and you got Floyd trying to piggyback off this. You seen that? He's trying to I guess like talks about a rematch are underway if Manny wins. You know, and even Turkey was like, I'm not gonna support this. You know, like this is somewhat of a gimmick. You know, because Floyd is well, we don't know where these guys are at. You know, physically at such a late age. Um, but definitely, man, like they can't mess with Boots. Um, uh, like Mario Barrios is literally,
Brian Norman.
and I'll be so nervous for both sides for Norman and Pacquiao. Um, if they were to fight, kind of doubt it, but um, I'm telling you, man, you got he can hurt Pacquiao because of the way he fights. It's styles, man. It's all styles. At the end of the day, the older you are, it's like yeah, your mind is more solidified into and you know who you are to where if you have the right styles of fight, you get more confident, you know, because you've seen this before and you know what this feels like. But
Well, you said in your ways.
yeah, right. And then Manny Pacquiao, I feel like um his what's it called like his weakness is literally boxers like Ugas and Floyd. Like those are the literally the only two guys that he's fighting with those style with that style. You know, with the pure boxer ability. Like all the other opponents are literally like in the pocket with him or like trying to trade with him. You know, so I just feel like Barrios is that guy. He's not that pure boxer. You know, they think he's gonna knock him out, bro, but he only has a 4 to 5 piece combination, and then after that he
And he keeps
pauses.
doing that and doing that and doing that again.
Yeah, and it's like you're gonna set it up at least. Are you gonna act like you're gonna are you gonna like play mind games with him, or are you just gonna press the controller in a sense and just keep throwing those hooks or the combinations, you know? So, um, yeah, Pacquiao is like a dancer. Like he knows how to dance. He has different dance moves all night. He's gonna show you something different. He's gonna set it up differently in all sorts of ways, and it's really his footwork. He uses the ring to his ability, bro. And he's like, I'm gonna jog over here. All right, I'm gonna jog over here. All right, I'm gonna go over here, and he's gonna work in pockets. You know, he's gonna utilize that ring for sure. And Barrios is gonna be like, "Where are we going? Why are you moving over there? I gotta come closer now." Boom! He's gonna watch, bro. I'm telling you, he's gonna use that ring to his advantage, and he's gonna hop, and his head's gonna be a moving target. You know, so it's gonna be hard for Barrios to really like he's gonna connect. You know, but they think Barrios is this like knockout puncher when in reality he's moving up from like the lower weight classes. Like we don't know how his grown man strength has came into play. You know, like I feel like it took a couple of training camps for Bud to really get his 147 strength in. You know, but Barrios, he's been at this weight class for a while, man. But there's a reason why he's ducking all these other fighters. You know, it's really because of a Pacquiao opportunity, but it was like also because like dude, you wouldn't have even been considered as an opponent if you wouldn't have been such a weak link in the division, you know.
Oh
So
wow, man.
I'm
So
telling you, bro, he's the weakest link in the division, bro, in a long time. In a long time. This is the weakest this division has been in a long time. And I'm saying that because you also have Norman, man. I was once like we talk highly of him, right? He's been improving, right? And guys turn it up for opportunities and they improve, they do what they gotta do. But I mean, like how many like you're gonna be in your first bright light fight with Devin Haney, and a lot of people have you getting outboxed by him. You know, it's like, dude, this is a 140 pounder moving up to fight you, and we have him winning. You know, so this is the weakest division it's been. Usually 147 pounders are too much for the 140, 135 pounders. They're hitting way too hard usually, you know, and it's really just Boots, bro. Like Boots, is the is that guy that's gonna be like, hey guys, you guys want to come up here? Like you guys don't don't talk too crazy, man, because I can easily go and fight you guys, even though he's gonna fight at 154 eventually. Um, yeah, so
that's crazy.
it's
We
a weak
we
division,
call
bro.
we call
It's 154. 154 is like is like a gold mine, bro. Like you have a bunch of heavy hitters in there with boxing ability. It's a gauntlet, bro. And at the 154 division.
Abel Ramos is a man with boxing ability and heavy hands. Fabian Maidana is another guy with some boxing ability but a lot of heavy hands. Your Dennis Sugas, a lot of boxing ability. Keith Thurman, a lot of boxing ability, heavy hands. Gervonta Tank Davis, absolute boxing ability, absolutely heavy hands.
What about
This is
punch
the
volume?
guy. This
What
is the
about punch
guy
volume?
who. Wait. Well, I'm just talking about in general. The way that you're describing these other fighters at
Oh,
154. These are the guys that Mario Barrios has fought. Win or lose, he's fought those guys. Um,
he couldn't hurt any of them,
it's okay, right? I mean, it's okay. It's not necessary that now, mind you, I want people to get
and
hurt. I do,
he's lost a
and
lot of rounds
he's lost
against
a
those
lot of
guys.
rounds, and yes, but what I'm saying is Mario Barrios being a weak link at this division does not necessarily mean Brian Norman is. Even though you look at Brian Norman's record and you can go back and say who has he beat. You can even look at Javon Boots Ennis' record and say who has he beat. Right. In fact, I think he didn't even beat Karen Hadsinian twice. To tell you the honest truth, I for reals think Karen won at least the second fight. So I understand what you're saying about that, but if we want to look at 154, look, 154 is a way more stacked division. We've seen their potential. We've seen men like Sebastian Fedora, a guy who should be one of the on everybody's fight of the year, right? For at least twice already. This guy has fought in incredible names in his short career, right? Just look at all of the names he's fought in and beaten, right? So I understand, but even if Mario Barrios is a weaker link at 147 at welterweight, Manny Pacquiao is nearly 50 years old, who hasn't fought in 3 years. The last time he fought, it was an exhibition. Say what you will, it was an exhibition. Maybe he went at it like it's a joke, this ain't real, but the guy was piecing him up. The guy was actually trying to hurt him. And to tell you the truth, it looked like Manny Pacquiao got hurt. Um, that was against a Japanese fighter that had way less experience than Manny Pacquiao.
Who?
I'm not saying I forget. It was in tension. I don't think it was tension. I forget what it was. But it was an exhibition took place in Japan. It was an 8 rounder exhibition.
Oh,
Exhibitions is not the
dude,
real thing. But if you look at that fight, developed
look,
into a fight.
he only prepared 2 weeks for that fight.
So and this is what I was trying to get at. You think Manny Pacquiao, the past 3 years, he's been preparing for anything?
Yes, he's like he
For
took
what?
this fight. He took this fight. Wait, say it again.
Manny Pacquiao hasn't fought in 3 years, bro. What do you think he
Uh,
was doing in that time?
Giving away money.
Okay, yeah, but he wasn't fighting. He wasn't in the gym. There was no
No, he's
incentive. There was no reason.
no, but he literally started when that fight uh was
My
when he
Capulets.
like he actually he started when that fight
Morning.
happened. You know, like he that fight that you're talking about. That's literally when he started training for this Mario Barrios fight. So it's like over a year, bro. Like more than a year, close to two. You know, so he's been on it, bro. He's been on the bike. He's been running, doing his miles, and like yeah, I just feel like Manny is takes preparation better than you think, and I'm telling you, bro. Like
I
he
know why you
literally,
want Manny to win
I want to see
because
history.
you saw him running over there in the hills of
Oh
Los
yeah, yeah,
Angeles,
yeah.
right? Yeah, that's why you
Mhm.
wanted to win, bro. It's the same way.
No,
It's the same
I've
reason
been
why I
saying
want.
it. I've been saying it, bro.
Look, it's the same reason why I wanted Edgar Berlanga to beat Hamza Shiraz. Well, you know why?
I
Because
wanted to
Hamza
as well.
Shiraz responded to one of my comments. He's like, "Thank you, bro, for your support," and I was like, "Oh my god, Edgar Berlanga!"
Honestly, bro, like I mean, that's what boxing all about. Like now, I'm a
Yeah,
Hamza fan, bro. Like
yeah.
Hamza says all the right things, and he's
Mm.
a solid fighter, bro. And he's usually UK fighters piss me off, man, and they're prima donnas, and it's like, dude, like you're not in a movie. There's no fucking cameras looking at you. Why are you acting so hard? You
You
know,
guys
so
always say that. You American boxing fans always say that the European fighters they act like what did you say?
not just
Diva.
fighters, not just fighters, but anyone famous from UK.
What did you say? You said what did you say? Divas or what did you call them? They act how?
Um, I just said it.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, like nah, prima donna.
Prima donna. Okay, prima donna, which is another synonym for diva. Funny
I don't know.
enough, the funny enough thing is that it's the Americans that act like prima donna.
Well, people
It's
from
the
LA are like
Americans.
that. People in LA are just like that as well. Like they think they're in a movie that because they're almost famous. They're near
Mm,
famous people.
mm.
I've seen a lot of people who are like they're like in their heads like I remember this. I feel like I'm in this scene of the movie. You know, I'm living that right now. And they get into, you know, like I don't know, they just get nostalgic and they think highly of themselves and they just I don't know. People are crazy in LA, but
Mm.
yeah, I feel like
You-
LA and UK are like kind of similar, you know, in a sense.
Okay, so I guess what you're saying is that the Europeans act all tough and everything like that. They act like prima donnas.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: the actions of the American boxers, they're very prima donna like. They're very diva-ish.
Yeah,
Look,
they have some, you know. Yeah, I
Boots
agree.
Dennis, Boots Dennis ducked Virgil Ortiz. And,
Yeah.
and they and I think Turkey Ali Sheik and Eddie Hearn they offered Boots Dennis some fights, right? He turned
Mhm.
them down, right? He turned them down. But now Boots Ennis offered, according to Boots and his team, Boots Ennis offered Brian Norman Jr. an opportunity for fight.
Mm.
The actions of Norman, which were basically to not accept that fight at like 1.5 or I think that guy wanted 2.3 million to take that fight on. Those actions are very divish. Devin Haney is apparently now, and his team, his father, Bill Haney, are apparently coming up with pretexts and other reasons to duck that fight that Turkey Ali Sheik is offering them, right? Brian Norman Jr. versus Devin Haney for a major event, I think in November. And they're looking for ways out. So here's the thing maybe the Europeans act tough, right? Which is a front, but the Americans, big time fronting, bro, with their actions, right? These guys are ducking, bro. These guys want to get paid buku dollars for fights that no one else would pay them anything for. I mean, like for example, I'm sure that you already know, right, about you know Bill Haney, questioning whether or not they should start drug testing now for Brian Norman, even though they've agreed that drug testing won't take place until like mid August, late September, and they're using that as an excuse to cop out of the fight. You know about this, right?
No, say it again.
So you know that Turkey Al Sheikh offered Brian Norman and Haney to fight, and they agreed on it,
Oh
right?
yeah, yep. I know what you're talking
Okay,
about. Yeah.
okay. So you're a big the boxing voice kind of guy, don't you? Didn't you watch the interview with with
Man, they've been on a lot, bro. So yeah,
okay,
I've
yeah.
been keeping
So
up with it. Yeah.
the other day they I think it was the boxing boys. They had Bill Haney and Brian Norman Sr. and they were talking about the fight. And for no reason or another, Bill just told Brian Sr. to start doing drug testing now.
Hmm.
Even though they agreed that they were going to start drug testing like in a month, because the fight is still like about 4 months away, bro. And they said, well, why don't you drug test now? And the
Hmm.
dude said, what are you talking about? Like, we already agreed we're going to start testing like in the middle of next month. He's like, oh, so what's the problem with
Now.
agreeing to it now? Yeah. And the dude said, well, because it's not part of the contract. Word is bond. You put your John Hancock on a piece of paper saying we're going to start then, and we're going to live up to that. It doesn't matter. It
Mhm.
doesn't matter what we do. Like, this was in agreeable terms for you. Why are you now bringing this up? Like, almost indicating, like, on the sideways, that the Normans are petting and basically levying false accusations, or insinuating that the reason they wouldn't take drug tests now is because obviously they're cycling off. And he said, well, if you're not willing to do that, then that means you're probably not a clean fighter. And what's the problem? If you want this fight, you have to do these things. And Norman Senior said, bro, what are you talking about? Are you trying to cop out now? Like, why do you say one thing and now your actions don't agree or are in line with what you put on the piece of paper? That fight is at risk of not happening, bro. And if that happens, then what does that say about the American fighter? A fighter like Devin Haney, who has had great fights. He's fought in great names. He's fought in Linares. He's fought, you know, what's his name, Lomachenko. He's fought Ramirez. He's fought some very good names, right? What does it say when you reach a level of recognition and then all of a sudden you start ducking fights thinking that you're bigger than who you are? Man, that's a diva, bro. That's a prima donna.
I think for me, prima donna just means you're you're kind of exceeding your expectations out of who you are as a person. Like it's like I don't know, like that's not a prima donna. I just feel like he's playing mind games. Like he's not trying to fold into their pressure, um, bro. And this is the thing, right? And it's kind of hard to judge, right? Because they're complaining for over 2 weeks. Haney's. They're saying, bro, it's only 2 weeks, and the other side is saying it's only 2 weeks. So what's the problem? And they're like, why not? So it's like, I don't know. It's a bunch of mind games. I think this is a thing, right? I heard one of the hosts, I think it was Marco Boxer or something like that.
Hmm.
He was saying, oh, then like what's the problem? Like why can't you wait 2 weeks? And he goes, because, or I don't know, like how Bill is. He do got a good, he has a good mouth on him. He knows how to curve curve questions, and he knows how to, you know, kind of move the goalpost
Hmm.
back a little bit. And he just, he's good with words.
I
But
agree.
yeah, he's really good with words. And Marco Boxing was like, well, if it's not a problem, then the fight wouldn't should would have been canceled by now, but it's still on, So so he goes, so I don't think it's a problem, you know? And I think Bill is just trying to press the issue, and there really isn't a problem. And maybe um he's the type to, he's gonna utilize every single talking point to boost up their own fight, you know. So in my head, I see what Bill's doing. He sees
I
a
see
little.
that too. I see
I
that
see
too.
he
But
sees a little problem, and he goes, "Oh, I'm gonna hop in the boxing voice. Ah, all right, let's
yeah,
do this." And
yeah, no, he is a master promoter.
it's
I
smart
agree.
because he got us talking about this fight. So I'm like, you got us, like you. That's smart, because I just get the sense that, it's not that he's bluffing. It's just he's he's pretty much, how you're about to get spanked You think you're about to get spanked, and your parents are holding the belt. They have their hands on their belt buckle, and they're like they're gonna take it off, and they're like, "You better fucking behave," and you're like, "Oh, don't hit me." That's what he's doing. He's like, fuck, in a sense, just holding that belt, you know, like he's gonna whip it on him, but he ain't gonna do shit. He ain't gonna cancel the fight. This is a big fight, bro. This is Devin Haney.
This is a huge fight, and
This is
it's a
Devin
big.
Haney.
It is a turkey fight, so that means it's
Yeah.
going to be uh, well rewarded. But I mean, this is a dangerous fight for both of them, right? I mean, not so much for Norman because through true boxing aficionados, they will give Devin Haney a chance. They absolutely will. They look at some of Brian Norman's past fights when he didn't look so spectacular. Now he's on this incredible, terrific run. It's an incredible progress that we've seen in Brian Norman. If you've seen him for the past 4 or 5 fights now, you see that he's developed incredibly so into this very, very complete, very powerful fighter, right? That meshes both offense and the defense well. Very catch and shoot, roll with the punches, and hits right at the right moments and with proper placement. He's a very fun fighter. I love those type of fighters. They stand their ground, right? And he seems to be catching Devin Haney in this moment where you can see it in Devin. He still has not overcome that Ryan Garcia defeat, right? He fought a very negative, stinky fight against JC Ramirez, a man that's 40 some odd years of age, if I'm not mistaken, who has never been a powerful puncher, more so a cumulative puncher, right? And he was always on the back foot. He was never able to engage or really confront that individual in the middle of the ring. And Brian Norman, he's going to face somebody that has the ability to cut off the ring, but mostly just bring him to him, right? Brian Norman is not necessarily going to chase after the guy, even though he does good. We just seen him chase after actually force a Japanese fighter on the back foot. They chased after him and then knocked him out. But this guy, Brian Norman, can get picked apart by Devin Haney just on skills
Hmm.
alone. Because Devin Haney is a very good boxer, bro. Believe it or not,
Hey,
he just doesn't have power.
so I'm not trying to change the subject, right? But I do know
Oh,
that fight's all the way. We have till November till that fight starts, right? Uh,
yeah.
bro, we have so many fights today. Like on the undercard, I'm like looking at it right now. But yeah, you wanted to finish off your point, or you want to talk about those fights?
Um,
The
why
undercard
were
of
we
that.
going there? I guess what we were trying. Well, yeah, let's go to it. Right now, I was actually watching some of the preliminaries for Usyk versus Dubois.
Oh shit!
Um, they were for free.
Goddamn. Oh, okay,
Whoa,
nice.
it's already on, but I'm not gonna pay $60 for it. Are you gonna pay for
Mm-mm.
that?
Dude, no, man. Dude, Dubai's getting paid like 80 M's for this fight. $80 million for this fight, bro. Like that's why he pulled out.
Why?
That's no, dude. That's why he pulled out of the Joseph Parker fight. So you can't blame him, but it's a dirty business, man. And it's like a big elephant, in the room. It's like, oh, like that's why, it's like there's no way you didn't just get sick. Now you look at Schofield and he got sick too. It's like he's about to get the Tank fight. It's like, I don't know. I think looking a little suspicious, man. But yeah, I'm not paying $80, $60, however much that is. I'm gonna stream today. Well, no, I'm probably gonna buy the Manny Pacquiao fight, but I'm gonna see if I can because I got this super box right here, so I'm probably gonna stream it on that box.
Oh, come on, bro.
Bro,
Aren't you a
bro, the
fan of
thing,
Manny Pacquiao? You're gonna rob him of $60?
yeah, but the thing is, I have I hardwired it, like I
Mhm.
have it connected straight to the Ethernet, and this thing is no glitching, nothing. It's perfect, and it's like it's hard to beat. It's hard to beat, like it's like, dude, it's the same thing, like I'm not getting no buffering at all, bro. Like I just broke the cheat code, but yeah, dude, you have Sebastian Fundora versus Tim Zoo. You have Brandon Figueroa versus Joey Gonzalez. You have Isaac Cruz fighting a late replacement in Omar Gomez or Salcido, and then David Picasso versus Kameda. I don't know who that is. Mark Maxayo versus Jorge Mata. I think I heard of Mata before. And then Gary Allen Russell, bro, the oldest brother,
Mm.
is gonna fight Hugo Castaneda.
When is
So
this? Right now?
today, today,
Shh.
yeah, and Jersey Vargas, he's
Oh
another.
yeah, I've been wanting to see him fight. Yeah,
Yeah, he
he's the
fights as
Manny.
well.
He's the Mayweather fighter, right?
Yes, and then also another Mayweather fighter in Joseph Brown, who's actually I think he's a kickboxer, a kickboxing national champion and a boxing national champion. So he's got some serious skills. Um, that's all IQ. That's pretty much like Caleb Plant right there. He wasn't no national champ, but he did, kickboxing as well. But Joseph Brown, bro, look out for him. Look out for him. He's a threat, bro. He's from Canada actually. But
Hmm. What's his name?
yeah, Joseph Brown. And he's gonna be the first fight of this card, So
Mm.
yeah, bro, it's so many fights, bro, like that I'm looking at. I'm a little disappointed about the Isaac Cruz fight. It made
Yeah,
me
very disappointed. Very actually,
That was the
very
best fight.
disappointed.
That
Yeah,
was the
yep,
best
I
fight right
agree.
there. And man, now it's like it's so like, dude, I'm so sad, bro. Like
Well,
they can cancel
yeah, that was
any
the best
fight.
fight actually,
They can
but not that
cancel.
one.
They can cancel. Man, who would you? What fight would you cancel? What's the biggest fight you would cancel for to to have an Isaac Cruz versus Fierro? Like I would cancel a lot of these fights for that fight, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I wanted that fight so bad, bro. But
You want to tell the people why that fight is so important for us?
man, just it was
It's the
probably
fight of the
one of the
year.
most memorable boxing nights of my life, bro. Like I've never been so like, amazed, bro. Like, and obviously you see other fights like the Corrales and the, versus
Yeah, the Mexican. They
Castillo.
that fight did not go through Mexican.
Yeah, so I was like, you see, you got the Mickey Wards versus, versus Gotti, and this was kind of it for us right here. This was our Mexican war, you know. I know the fights that I just said right now aren't Mexican wars, but I was just saying like the styles, like it was in the pocket, bro. They were just throwing
Oh
baseball
my
hooks, bro,
god,
and
dude!
it was mostly Fierro taking them, but then Fierro went through the line of fire and actually hurt Isaac Cruz, and dude, he had him hurt, bro, looking in the ground,
You
like,
know what?
oh,
This fight card is great, bro. This fight
it's still
card
good.
is great.
It's still good.
Everything is so good about it.
It's still good. I'm still glad Isaac Cruz is fighting and we get to see another knockout. But I guess
What you think? Omar Salcido has no chance?
um that's what
He
I
put up
said.
a
I
very
said
good
I said
fight
the same
against
thing.
Andy Cruz.
I know. And I said the same thing about Fierro, you know? So I could be wrong, bro. Like he
Listen, guys, let's
could.
just talk about this card, right, for tonight. Man, you know what? I think I'm going to spend money on this fight. Mario Barrios, Manny Pacquiao. All right. Say what you will about it. I mean, like anything, right? Manny Pacquiao related. I'm a fan. I'm excited. Mario Barrios is a feisty, come forward, high out. Well, maybe not a high output, but good output fighter, right? Come forward, basic, but whatever, right? Good fight. It's going to lead to somebody being hurt, upset, retired, or knocked out. Tim Su versus Sebastian Fundora. Now, this fight is good in the sense that we know the first fight was very close, right? Tim Su was dominating Sebastian Fundora. Ever since then, Fundora established a more boxistic approach to the sport. Right now, he jabs more. Now he, uses his reach and even implements a back foot instead of just coming forward like a like a dominant force, like a tornado, and overwhelms his opponents. We now have a rematch of that very fun first fight of the year contender. But we also know that Tim Tszyu has been since then knocked out in 3 rounds by a relatively unknown but now notorious Bakr Murtasaliev, and we know that post-traumatic stress has affected Tim Tszyu. Every time he gets hit in the head, he feels something at the top of his skull, like at the scar site that he took after having been elbowed by Sebastian. So I don't know if this Tim Tszyu is the same Tim Tszyu that put up a good front and a good fight against Sebastian the first time. So I'm not too excited about that fight. But hopefully we can see either Tim Tszyu redeem himself and overcome his tormentor, or maybe Sebastian Fondora almost, listen, almost retires Tim Tszyu. If Tim Tszyu loses this fight, guys, to the same fighter, this would mean that this would be the third consecutive defeat, and depending on how he loses, if it's by
How you gonna
knockout,
say?
it would be 3 consecutive fights, 2 knockout losses back to back, and 2 of those losses would be to the same fighter. Now, for the most part, I would say if you lose to the same fighter, that just means that that guy has your number, right?
Mm.
But if he loses to Sebastian Fondora, the bad thing is not that you lose to the same guy. The guy has your number 8. That's fine, right? It happens. There's just some guys that you're always going to lose to. You might be 99.9% of all people, but there's just going to be that one guy that figures you out, and he's done it once. He's going to keep doing it again. That's not the part that concerns me. What concerns me is that if he cannot be Sebastian Fondora, that means he cannot learn from past mistakes, right? And that's the most concerning part for me. In defeat, you have to be able to go back and analyze what went wrong and get better from that. The problem that I have with Tim Tszyu fighting this fight at this moment is that he never had a fight that he could pick himself back up and say, okay, look, I'm back in the winning circle. Okay, now I can focus on, getting into learning how I lost the first time because now my spirit is up. No, he's coming off of a devastating, utter destruction defeat by the hands of Murtasaliev. This is not the fight Tim Tszyu needs. Tim Tszyu needed a touch up or two, a soft touch really, before he fights this fight. So I'm not too excited. I really have Sebastian Fedora to win. And you know me, guys. I never call any fight, but I say Sebastian Fedora is going to piece apart Tim Tszyu. Isaac Cruz is no longer fighting Angel Fierro, but he is fighting a very feisty, skillful Omar Salcido, who had a very good outing, although he lost in unanimous decision to Andy Cruz in a matchroom event. But still, that's going to be a very good last minute replacement for Isaac Cruz. Isaac Cruz, in my opinion, lost his last fight to Angel Fierro. Maybe you can call it a draw, whatever. But I think Angel Fierro won, or maybe it was a draw, but I think Angel Fierro won. So I really wanted to see that Omar Salcido has a chance, guys. Omar
I think.
Salcido can pick apart Isaac Cruz at this moment because
Mm,
Isaac Cruz did not look so good. Here's the
mhm.
thing. I think this is at 140. Didn't they go back down to 135?
No, I think this is at 140, bro.
Mm,
This is a 140 fight right here. But yeah, it's super
okay.
light, so 140. But yeah, dude, it's like what the thing is, Fierro found out that he can take his punches, and he found out after getting hit on by some baseball hooks, and he was like, "Shit, I'm still up," you know.
Yup.
And
Yup.
sometimes you surprise yourself in a sense, and you're
Hmm.
like, "You know what? I'm gonna trade with this guy." But sometimes your body cannot. I say this a lot. Your body can't keep up with the mindset. So Omar, he's gonna find out whether or not he can take his power. And it's really that simple. Not everyone is built like Fierro, bro. Like Fierro might happen to have and this could be false, but he probably has a granite chin, bro, that no one knew about, you know, and it got displayed, like the last fight, you know. But he also what happened, bro, like he actually switched to Robert Garcia, and he probably is changed up his routine, lost uh or actually like didn't didn't lose as much weight as he wanted to, and then he got stuck at a certain weight, having to drain himself again during fight week. So the weight cut wasn't a success. Um, so yeah, so to me, I feel like they tried to change the game plan, but it affected their weight. So I think with Omar, he's gonna have to. I haven't really heard too much about him. I did hear when he fought Andy Cruz, and he looks like a lengthy guy. He looks like another Angel Fierro, like his height, his stature, and all that. And he's fighting in the lower weights. So is it maybe what's his name? Maybe Pitbull doesn't have power. Maybe he just hits hard at 135. And this is a 140 fight right here. So uh and that dude Omar is doing the exact same thing that Fierro did. Fight at 130, move up to 140, you know?
Mhm.
So maybe those extra pounds that they were doing uh helped Fierro take those punches, you know?
True, true.
So
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Of course.
cuz imagine, bro, you're full, you're stuffed, and boom, you get hit again. You're like, wow, I'm still up. Like, I feel good, you know. Let me trade with this guy. So, uh, it's either he's gonna be on the ground or he's gonna trade with Pitbull. But I think Fierro is just unique, bro. I've seen him fight before, and it's really that dog in him, bro. And Salcido got dropped by Andy Cruz, no? No, he didn't. No, he didn't. I'm looking right now. He didn't. But
Oh,
yeah, no, he didn't. But he he got outclassed definitely. But I mean, Andy Cruz, Isaac Cruz, not Andy, obviously, way different styles. But you know, um, I think Isaac's just gonna knock him out, bro. Like, there's not too many chins that go around in boxing, bro. And I think Isaac Cruz happened to run into somebody that had a chin. I don't think Omar has a chin. He's been knocked. Oh, he hasn't been knocked out before. He's
no,
fun.
he has a chance, bro. I'm telling you. Look,
Yeah,
here's the thing about Isaac Cruz, right? Isaac
I'm
Cruz is
not betting
fighting
on
at
that,
a
but
weight. Yeah, Isaac Cruz is fighting at a division that he shouldn't be fighting in.
yeah,
140, he has no thing to do at 140 at all. Nothing, bro. He will get pieced apart
yeah.
by
Anyone,
everybody.
by
Liam
anyone with the
Paro,
IQ.
yeah, Liam Paro, Gary Antoine Russell, by Puello,
Yeah.
Matthias, Teofimo Lopez, Sandor
Ooh,
Martin, everybody. He's gonna be.
Matias.
Well, yeah. So Matthias, just because of that high guard, yeah, he will probably take punches and he'll be overwhelmed. But and it'll be tough on Matthias because, I mean, Isaac Cruz is so short, bro.
They're
Like, I
both
mean,
battering rams, though, bro. They go forward. You
yeah,
know,
yeah. But yeah, okay. You know what? All right, I give that one. Well, man,
that's a good fight.
that's
Yeah,
a good.
but I'll give you
Yeah,
this. I'll
that's
give
a
you
good
this.
fight.
Matias does more than Isaac Cruz. Like Isaac Cruz is more one dimensional. Matias actually has some other tools in the tool bag as well. You know, but yeah,
No, actually, I think they're both pretty limited, right? I
yeah.
mean, look, we
But
have
but Matias is the one that's messing with the bottles
yes,
and the true
yes,
boxers, bro. Isaac
yes.
Cruz would never step in the ring with the Shakur, with the Devin, with the Tio. Like Matias is doing that.
Yeah, yeah, true, true. And again, we go back to the fact that Pitbull Cruz has nothing to do at 140. He really should come down to 135, and if possible, maybe make 130. Because at 135, he's got smoke. He's got options. We know that that's where he made his name. That's where he made his bones, right? But otherwise, at 140, man, the size difference, the power, the fact that somebody like Angel Fierro can take your punches, it just shows. They should show you, no, bro, this is not your division. But he wants to test himself, and we do have to, find the creative matchmaking for him to fight because he's pretty short, limited fighter himself. Uh, he has to come back down. But again, I think Omar Salcido has a chance because Omar Salcido, he has beaten the fighters with very good skill that can be come forward aggressors like Chris Colbert, the black Mexican. He's beaten Chris Colbert. He put up a very good fight against Andy Cruz, even though it was a unanimous decision loss. I think Omar Salcido does have an opportunity. I wouldn't count him out.
So I think
Going back.
I'm gonna give you more of a chance now because I did slightly more research.
Mhm.
I'm getting Salcido mixed up with some other guy.
Yeah,
Salcido's
yeah, I
first,
believe so.
yeah, Salcido's first fight started at 140. So this guy looks like a full-fledged 140 pounder, bro. And
Hmm.
he's Isaac Cruz is actually messing with someone who's been living at 140, you know?
Yeah.
So this is
Let's go
different.
to the next. Let's go to the next very good fight. Brandon Figueroa, the
Mm.
Texan, versus Joet Gonzalez. And we know both Joet Gonzalez and Omar Figueroa had been contenders, right? I think in the case of Brandon, he's even been a champion. So Brandon, a former champion, versus a contender that never made it to champion, but he's always been up there. He's always been well ranked. Joet Gonzalez. That's going to be a very good fight. The odds are negative 260 for Brandon, Joet Gonzalez plus 200. Featherweight fight right there. That's a very good fight. What do you think about that? Who's going to win?
I think Figueroa is gonna run through him. I think I don't think
Run through him.
Joet. Yeah, I think Joet was hurt against a Navarrete. Navarrete is different style. Um, he kind of stalks you, and then he uses his extremely long reach that Figueroa also kind of has because he's also taller. Um, and he throws so many more punches. This is going to be the most output that he's seen like in his professional career with Figueroa, bro. Figueroa is going to be smothering him. He's not a pure boxer. He likes to trade. Uh, and they're not. I wouldn't call this a battering ram contest, but uh, there's only one battering ram in this contest, you know. And I think Joet's gonna get knocked out. And this is a plus 350. I actually do have a bet on that. So a plus 350 for a knockout. There, he's favored to go minus 110 uh, decision. You know, but I think, um, yeah, I think Joet just like I think there's gonna be way too much output and way too much damage, bro. It's gonna take away. It's gonna take a lot, bro. It's gonna be a war, because obviously he likes to trade, and uh, and I've seen Joet hurt, you know, more than I have uh, Figueroa. So yeah, I got knockout, bro.
Knockout.
What do you think?
Um,
Hmm.
good. Good
Yeah,
pick, bro.
you don't know, you know who you got?
No, I don't have nobody.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
kind of hard. It's hard at first, but I had to think about I had to think about the fights that I've seen from these guys, and Figueroa has not changed uh in a good way, I guess, because high output guys tend to slow down, and he has not slowed down. You know, he's still relentless, and he's still in your face. You know, and
that's true.
Joet doesn't have that Angelo Leo hook to shut you up in between those punches. You know, that's why I'm such a big fan of Angelo Leo, because it looks like he can fold under pressure, but then he'll come back with that hook, boom. And that's what's scary about him, you know, is that he likes to end combinations with that overhand hook. And Joet don't really he's well balanced. All of his punches are solid, but he doesn't have that one hard punch. You know, I'm pretty sure it's either going to be a left or his right that's stronger, but he doesn't have that. He doesn't have that you know that Angelo Leo, like what you're known for punch. You know, it's like he's
Angelo
not
Leo's the
known.
guy who stopped El Venado.
Yes, and Yeah, and that's pretty much his signature, bro. Like he loves to end it with hooks, like with overhand hook. And with Joet, he's gonna have to do that. He's gonna have to keep Figueroa. Um, no, he's gonna have to get make sure he feels power, bro, or else he's gonna be in his face all night. Uh,
What do you know about Jorge Mata, who's fighting Mark Magsayo?
Jorge Mata. I'm not gonna lie, not too much, bro. I think I've heard of it. I gotta look into his. I feel like I've seen him fight, but I had to look into you
Box
know,
Rick.
yeah, I'll look at it right now.
Yeah, let me know what you if you know anything about him because that seems like the weakest fight so far. Well, Gary Allen Russ was fighting a guy named Hugo Castaneda, who I don't remember either.
mhm. So this guy, Jorge Mata, is he's a 130 pounder. He's fighting Mike Sayo. I don't know at what weight, it doesn't say, but this guy Mata is 21 and 2. You know, two losses, two draws, and he got beat by Rocky Eduardo Hernandez. Um, so by knockout in the fifth round. So I know Eduardo. I think I seen him fight. He just lost. I think. Um, oh yeah, against uh Oshaki. Yeah. So yeah, bro. I think Mike Sayo can probably knock him out. You know, he lost to Rocky. He lost to this dude named Jose Luis Vasquez Hernandez. He got a draw against Ronan Sanchez. I don't know who that is, and some other guy, Esquivel. But it's really just that Rocky. Like that's the only guy I recognize in his resume is Eduardo Hernandez. He got knocked out in the fifth round. So yeah, I think he's gonna be in his face all day. You got to be a pure boxer to beat Mark Magsayo, bro. Like you have to do what he does at a high level, or you gotta have the pure boxer ability and keep him at bay and use the ring, you know, because I actually seen Mark uh in LA when I was running with Manny. And you know, he was the one that was like I actually pinpointed him and I was like, dude, I know that's Mark right there. You know, and I'm not gonna lie, everyone kind of looked the same because there were so many Filipinos, bro. I was tripping out, and so many big calves everywhere. So so yeah, these guys. I asked him, I was like, yeah, is Manny running right now? He goes, yeah, but he's running late. And I was like, where is he? Is he gonna pull up right here? And he goes, yeah, he usually comes in right there around this area, and we're just right in front of where he parked, and I was running with Mark, and like everyone was so personable, bro. Like everyone was like, you know, just saying what's up. And I seen him shadow box, and it's just different when you see things in person. And I know this. I know this because I see dudes like, you know, Keone, and I see dudes like, you know, some of my uncles like pro boxers, and they're low, they fight at a lower level, obviously, and I know looking at dudes like Mark Magsayo, who's actually like a world class fighter in a sense, and just to see him shadow box, I was like, dude, this guy's combination, like I was learning combinations just looking at him. I was like, damn, that's a good combination. Like I kind of, so it's just it was cool to see, bro. Like seeing Mark Magsayo, he's literally another Pacquiao, but you could tell he doesn't implement that Pacquiao style where he's like, ooh, like he doesn't want to be a copycat and jump everywhere. Like he has his own style, you know. So yeah, I'm a bigger Mark Magsayo fan. Like I kind of turned Filipino past 2 weeks. Um, yeah,
And you know what? It's not a bad thing to be
I'm
Filipino.
also
Filipino people are pretty awesome, bro. I
love
mean,
Filipinos,
I,
bro. Like they're
yeah,
Mexican. I feel like they're Mexican, bro.
yeah. I've met a lot of Filipinos. They've all been
Ex-
well, there's two Filipinos that that weren't excellent. One of them was a neighbor of my parents. They are neighbors from my parents, but these douchebags, they would I guess the guy used to sell cars, right? Like he'd flip cars, so he always had like his house full of cars, like right up in the lawn, right up in the front. He'd start taking up all of these spaces from all of these neighbors, just parking all of these vehicles that he was trying to flip. And that's okay, you got to make your money, right? But what this guy would do is, my mother, she's handicapped, she can't walk very well. So we made like this little we made like this little walkway for my mother. My father and I, we laid down some cement. We fixed around there so that we can just pull up and make it easier for my mother to walk from, the street to the house. And this bastard, he would wait for my parents to leave, just to like drop off the kids at school or whatever and their grandchildren. And then this guy would move one of his cars from across the street right over there to where my parents live. And then it came to the point where the guy actually started to take those construction cones, those orange ones, and put them right there so that nobody could park. And we're like, what dastardly behavior? My father, of course, older, he doesn't tolerate that crap. He got his cones, threw them to the other side of the street on the floor, and he even had to call the police and say, you know what, this guy's putting up cones over here, and I don't know if that's legal, but this guy's been coming over here and just putting all kinds of cones. Like he had like five different cones to take up five different spots across the
Public
street.
property.
Uh-huh. Yep. And then of course these police they don't know how to do their job. They show up like 2 weeks later when the guy is outside watering his grass, and then the police officer shows up to my father who he's watering this grass, and he pulls up to my father's property. And he goes, "Hey, did you call the cops about 2 weeks ago?" And he points to the other guy. Is that the neighbor that's putting up the things? And the Filipino guy's looking at him. What the hell is going on? And then my father, of course, like, "Yeah, this guy's been putting up these cones, but that was 2 weeks ago, bro. I threw him
Uh,
away." And bro, the cop basically snitched him out, bro. And from there, the Filipinos stopped doing that. That guy was one of them. And the other guy that was pretty much a douche, but then we ended up becoming friends, was this Filipino. I won't say his name because he became like a gangster, and I think he ended up going to prison, killed somebody or something like that. This guy in eighth grade, we Filipinos always looked very cool, bro. Right? They were the very first ones with these long ponytails that are now popular with like Mongolians and certain gang. Um, and they used to have like the mullets before the Mexicans started doing it. They had their own swag back then, right? So they looked very cool, but they also looked very intimidating. And back in the day when I was a kid, there was movies like Kung Fu and Bloodsport and everything like that, which they're like karate, type of fights, movie fights. And I was sort of like under the impression that all Asians knew how to do like karate and jujitsu and all kinds of stuff. So when this guy started to like pick on me in eighth grade, um, English class, I was reluctant to fight this guy, but he was just poking at me and poking at me until I said, "All right, you know what?" Boom, and we got up out of the desk and we started fighting. And then, of course, our teacher, this Jewish guy, he ended up stopping a fight, and we made a mess of the class. And he started crying like a big old hippie. Long story short, right? That guy was the only other Filipino, the other Pinoy that I would say he wasn't so cool. But then we fought, and then we became cool. But otherwise, Filipino people are great, bro. Let me ask you something. How did you find out that these guys were having this event where you can run with them? And how
uh,
come you didn't tell me?
because God, because bro, just like,
Because you're out of shape.
no, dude. We wanted to go to the Hollywood Observatory. We wanted
Uh-huh.
to check that out, and we went up there. We left early in the morning, to
Yeah.
do a bunch of things in LA, and
Uh,
this was not expected.
Plan.
Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
You
We
just
just went.
ran into all these famous boxers just
Well,
running the hills of
okay,
Los
so imagine
Angeles.
this. Imagine this, and it looked just like Toro Park with with a little bit of an incline, just like Toro Park, except you're able to park on the side, and
What?
yes, and what's it called? You know how you go drive through Toro Park and you go up the hill that
Yeah.
hill, the pavement hill. Um,
Yeah.
Pretty much imagine the observatory is up there, but this is like a, it's like a
That's
10,
steep.
no, not less steep, but
Okay.
it's because it's flat and then it's steep,
Uh,
uh, but I'm talking about Toro, but over there
yeah.
observatory, it's a steady incline, and it looks flat, but it's up, you know, and it's hard to
Oh.
tell. It's hard to tell because you're just pushing yourself. You're like, okay, this is uphill a little bit, but
Yeah.
it does look flat, but it's uphill. But anyways, we're driving up there and it's empty. We don't see anybody, so it doesn't even register to me. And it's probably like 6 in the morning or 7 in the morning. Like,
What?
we got there that early, bro, and
Wow.
we left like at 1 o'clock in the morning, and then yeah, got there at 6. We went straight to the observatory, and yeah, like we went up, go down, we went down, and we start to see cars, and we're like, dude, now like a bunch of cars just popped up. Like, where'd these fucking cars come from? And it's not as much as at first, but when I seen uh like Manny Pacquiao gear, I was like, oh shit, this is where he
Wow.
runs. This is-
Wow.
yeah, I was like, this is where he runs. And then uh
Who
my
were
other
you
boy,
with?
my boy, what's his name? Mike and Roman. So
What did you guys do? What is this thing called in the observatory? And why were you guys there in the first place?
just to check it out, honestly, like we wanted to get flicks, bro. Like I want like first time I've ever like kind of done that. Like I'm type of guy to put my phone away and just experience it. But it was so good. Like I'm talking about the observatory, like just taking pictures of like you know I don't know, statues and stuff like that. I was like, this it was kind of getting like interesting
What?
and reading like, the history and the building and all that, but it was cool. And then we ended up going down, see a bunch of cars, and I was like, oh shit. And I asked a bunch like these Filipinos, I was like, is Manny running? He goes, yeah, yeah, yeah. And then I was like, okay. And then we just park, and I'm like, on a like I still didn't know if he was gonna run. And then that's when I seen we parked, and that's when I seen I also seen Charlie Sheehy. Um he was there too, but he kept looking at me like I was gonna like run with like I was a fighter or something.
Yeah.
And and I was just like, I know who you are, but you ain't shit. Nah, I'm just kidding. But like
Whoa.
because I never was a big fan of his, bro. He's from Bisbane. He's from San Francisco, and
Uh-huh.
pretty much, I remember when one of my uncle's fighters, fought him, Amari, and he
Uh-huh.
actually beat him like easily. I didn't think he was gonna get to this level, but he did. He ended up, he's under top rank right now. But I don't even know who he's with, but he ended up,
Uh-huh.
he ended up being undefeated. But yeah, he was there. But I wanted to see. I seen Mark Magsayo, and that's when I was like, hey, is Manny running right now? He goes, yeah, but he's running late. I was like, well, what time does he start? He goes, he usually starts right now. He's usually stretching right now and all that. And I was like, okay. And then next thing you know, uh, like Mike was like, or no, Roman was like, he's gonna pull up in the truck, what, or in like in a Ford Explorer, and I'm like, dude, I wouldn't even know. Like we kept looking inside cars, like not to like while they're driving past,
Wow.
and there was a Ford Explorer and a Sprinter van, and then we seen people like try to act all cool, and I was like, nah, that's him. I know, you guys can't even hide it, no one was saying shit. They're trying to be all cool about it, and then I was like, "Nah, I'm running." I was like,
Wait, you just got up and ran with them.
no, because dude, this is the
Wait,
thing.
no, 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 no. Wait, did
Hold
you
on.
just get up and start running with them?
This is the thing. We we go on runs when when we go on vacation and shit. Like
Yeah.
Roman likes to run. I was like, that's
Uh-huh.
cool. So I know this about him. So I had running shorts under my pants, my jeans, you know? So and I had running shoes with me. So I was like, boom, took them off, put on my running shoes, and I was like, let's go. Did a little stretch, and then And then I just seen Manny come out, and I was a little confused because Manny came out like kind of like sweating a little bit, like like on his chest a little bit, you know. And I was like confused, and then I just seen him stretch, and I was like, you can hear me in the video, and I'm like, did he already go for his run? You know, is that why he's late, or you know? And then they were like, no, no, he's starting right now, you know. And I was like, all right, let's do it, you know. And yeah, bro, I was like, running. You see the if you guys see the video on the Homie Ricky podcast, which he didn't even want to post it. I was like, bro, like post it. Like, I don't know. He just wants credit. You know, he wants to be the guy that was there. But I was like,
Wait,
bro,
Instagram or where is this at?
it's on Instagram, but I sent it to Isho to post on his YouTube.
Let
So
me see.
yeah, it's on the Instagram page.
Nope, I didn't see it on YouTube, and
Well,
that's
no,
very typical
yeah, because I
of
sent it
Rick,
to
because I asked him, "You want to go live?" And he's like, "Nah, I'm gonna go live and talk about boxing."
him. Yeah,
Yeah.
but you post on there. Like, is that you posting or is he posting for you?
No, I'm not too sure. No, oh, you mean the
The
Madman
short.
videos? I
Yeah.
do those. I upload them to the channel, but
Dude, I sent
I
it. I sent it to him. I messaged it to him, and I on through IG too, and he didn't want to post it, or like he didn't
yeah,
say
no,
no.
you'll soon understand that the homie Ricky's a dick, bro.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, he did. Well, he posted it. Well, oh wait, no, that's not you. Nope, I don't think he posted anything, bro.
yeah,
Sorry,
it's
bro.
on IG. It's on
Wait.
IG, and I was a little hurt about it, and I was like,
Oh,
bro,
I see you. I see you. There's a lot of why did you post it in 1:1 ratio, bro? Like,
what do you
don't
mean?
you know how to record in like uh portrait mode? That
Um,
is Mark Maxayo.
yeah. So him. I seen Ellie.
The setback.
Setback. Yeah, and then Sheehy. But yeah, bro, it's hard, man. Like I'm not gonna do all that extra shit. People had stabilizers and all that, and I was like, let me just get what I can, you know, like and I chopped it up. There was like a longer version of it. It was so long I had to chop it up and yeah, bro, like it was like one
Dude,
to
that's like such great fortune. You know that, right?
what happened?
The
Oh yeah,
fact
yeah,
that you
bro, and now
basically just ran into the guy, a Hall of Fame, a legend. You just and you'd have to be there way early in the morning in order to do that, bro. You perfect
yeah,
timing, bro. That's
yeah,
crazy, bro.
yeah. I was like, dude, this is insane.
This
Like
is probably the greatest day of your life, bro.
yeah, and I was like, dude, Rick's gonna be so mad because he thinks I didn't invite him on purpose, and I just know what we were about to do that whole day that wasn't his type of vibe, or like
Yeah, yeah.
you know. So what we did after that, we stayed up for 24 hours pretty much, and
Wow.
we did everything, bro. It was so much fun,
And
like,
you ran with them.
and I ran with them in the
How
morning.
far?
Me like.
Yeah, well, yeah. Or
Oh,
you quit.
because I had Mike with me. He's a little handicapped, a little bit, but he can't run that much. And you know, this guy Pacquiao did 10 miles, so I already knew I wasn't gonna hit that. You know, I was like, I
How
need a
many
fight.
miles did you run, bro?
Oh, like less than one.
Oh
So
man,
yeah,
dude,
because I put my phone away
Pacquiao is looking down on you now.
because I was had my phone and it was getting a little hard to like have my hand up while running. So that kind of took energy out, you know? And then I was like, oh shit. Cause I was recording
Mm.
for like 10 minutes, you know, with my hand up. And I was like, this is hard. So I was like, fuck. And people actually were running with their hands down, but had a stick with a stabilizer on it. So they weren't
Yeah,
wasting energy. And I was like, ah, fuck, I'm not unprepared. You know, but it was like cool though, because I was trying my best and I didn't want to lose everyone. And also I didn't know we had an Airbnb. It wasn't until 3 p.m. the check-in time. So we were gonna be all sweaty wherever we are gonna do, you know. So we're gonna be sweaty in breakfast. We're gonna,
So many excuses, bro. So I don't care, bro. That
dude.
I
I'm
wouldn't
not
care.
fighting. I'm not fighting. You know.
I
So
exactly. You're not fighting, so who cares
so
what you
what
look
is the
like, bro?
video? So the video ain't not valid now?
It's valid. It's valid. It's just that like, have
Nah,
you ever seen my? Have you ever seen the videos, my vlogs that I make?
but you were never with the guy at this caliber.
Bro, I would have nailed it, bro. Have you seen my videos? I
Yeah,
would have nailed it, bro. My
yeah,
my
but
my stuff's quality, bro.
to accidentally run into Pacquiao and to accidentally be prepared.
Dude, if I accidentally ran into Pacquiao, I would make a great video, bro. I'd be like, bro, it's because you
So
have to
that's
man
not
up to the
crazy, huh?
moment, bro.
Nah, I'm gonna just delete it then.
Nah,
Don't delete it. You're taking away things.
nah,
Don't
bro, come on.
don't
That's,
put it on
I'm
my.
just gonna delete it.
That's not good. I'm gonna delete it.
Okay, let's go back into the boxing, bro. Hey, I'm so happy for you, bro. Like that is one of those incredible, like, serendipitous moments where you just like you're all nonchalant, waking up all 6 o'clock in the morning. You're like, let's go check out some place called the Observatory, and then you go in there and you literally run into, in my opinion, the greatest fighter that ever lived. And you run with them, like, bro, that's incredible. Yeah, and let's go back to the boxing, right? The PBC card also offers David Picasso, a under negative 2,000 versus Kenyosuke Kameda, plus 950 fighter at junior featherweight. Dream, you know who David Picasso is, right?
Um, is he David Benavides?
No,
That guy?
David. No, I'm not too sure if he's with. Oh, I think he is with David. David Benavides.
Jose Benavides, my bad.
Jose
Yeah.
Benavides fighter. But David Picasso, if I'm not mistaken, is a Mexican fighter who is in the Naoya Inoue weight division, 122. And Turkey Al Sheikh had stated that he was going to make Naoya Inoue versus David Picasso next. Now, David Picasso hasn't really fought in any big names. He hasn't have any, B level fighters like prior champions or gatekeepers. Nothing like that on this record. Not that I know of. But he was supposed to be next for Naoya Inoue. In fact, Turkey had offered Naoya Inoue David Picasso first before even MJ Akhmadaliev. Now it's happening the other way around. MJ Akhmadaliev and Naoya Inoue are going to be fighting 2 months before David Picasso. Naoya is going to be fighting David Picasso in December if Picasso wins this fight, and of course if MJ beats MJ Akhmadaliev, if Naoya beats Akhmadaliev. David Picasso is fighting a guy named Kiyonosuke Kameda. Do you know anything about Kameda?
Uh, maybe I think he fought Shushu. No, or am I
Is
wrong?
that him?
He got knocked out by Shushu. I think.
What?
Let me see. What's
Well,
the?
he got stopped by a technical knockout by Luis Neri. Uh,
Oh, nah, we're talking about somebody else.
yeah, yeah. No, so his last
Wait,
fight was against Luis Neri, and he lost to him, TKO. And he's fighting David Picasso. Um, he also fought an Angelo Beltran, and a couple of other Japanese fighters with 52 wins, 7 losses, 28 wins, 10 losses, those kind of fighters, right?
looks like
So,
William Cepeda. A
oh yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, it's a bit a little bit
little
um
bit like Guerito, a little bit.
yeah, a little weird kind. So he's gonna be fighting Alan Picasso. Wait, David Picasso.
David Picasso.
No, no, no. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, wow. This guy has a record of 30 wins, 17 knockouts, 0 losses, and this guy's the guy who's next for Naoya anyway. Um,
Mm.
he's the guy who fought Hofesinian and beat him. Outside Hofesinian, let me see what other names I recognize. Jason Vargas. Well, he was already washed. Kevin Villanueva. He's got a couple of fighters, but and those weight divisions, the smaller guys, they fight each other and they win or lose, right? He's going to be fighting. This is a very important fight because he has to win this fight in case he wants to get a shot at becoming undisputed against Naoya anyway. Does this fight, even though you never heard of these guys, you probably never even seen them fight, does this fight here present to you any value, knowing that if Picasso wins, he might fight Naoya anyway, or is it still like, there's too much going on. Naoya has to beat MJ. That's not secured. David hasn't fought anybody, so why am I going to be excited if David is just going to get a shot against the monster? Why should it matter? Are you excited for that fight or no?
Uh, Honestly, bro, it wasn't even in my radar, bro. The David, you're talking about the David Picasso, right?
Yeah, David Picasso versus that Japanese Kameda for a possible fight against MJ.
Anyway,
Well, to tell you the truth, against MJ Akhmadaliev also, because if MJ beats Naoya, that's probably what Turkey will try and make. Are you excited for that fight, knowing that they
I'm more,
could make it a big fight someday, or no?
I'm more excited about the Akhmadaliev Inoue fight, bro. You know, like that fight has has been in the works for a minute, bro. Like Inoue
Yeah.
kept dunking him for a reason, and
What?
I just don't know enough about David Picasso. Maybe he makes me a fan today, and maybe I'll start to call for that fight more. But I got to see this guy fight, bro. I can't. Um, I can't just look at records anymore. And plus, I'm not looking at any common opponents, you know, in his resume. So he still has
True,
yet
true.
he has yet to take that leap, you know, with names. So he's got a fights. Well, I'll see him today. But even if I were to see him today and I would have like, oh, this guy's good, I gotta start to see who he fights. You know.
Yeah. But speaking of something, you said that you're much more interested in Akhmadaliev versus Naoya anyway, and you should be, because that's the next fight. It's not going to be Picasso versus MJ. It's not going to be Picasso versus Naoya, because we don't know what will happen
Mhm.
in tonight's fight, nor in MJ versus Naoya's fight. But when they do fight, who do you have for that win right there? MJ or Naoya?
I can't trust it. Ugh. I can't trust Inoue anymore, man. Um,
What?
yeah,
What?
he's just showing too many chinks, bro. Like when you dominate, I want to see you. Like there's a reason why I always gravitate towards the boxer. You know, it's because it's you last longer in the sport. Uh,
Mhm.
and even if I see you wobbled a little bit, I'ma still think you're good, and I'ma still think you're gonna last a long time in the sport. Kind of like Shakur, right? Like he got wobbled, but that shows me that hey, you're gonna last a long time. Like you're here to stay, you know. And with Inoue, right? He has this style that just like he's already getting wobbled, bro. Pacquiao was not getting wobbled, bro. You know, he was inflicting the pain, you know, and he was getting connected, but there was no chink in the armor. You know, you can get connected and but it's like this dude's falling straight to the ground. And honestly, I didn't know this, but Felix Trinidad, people like I always thought he was good. I still think he's good, but when I found out he was getting dropped so many times, I was like, wow. Like like this like people just love him though, you know? Like they love him for that. And he keeps getting up and he keeps winning. Um but how long did that stardom last until he started to actually get fucked up, you know, against the Bernards, you know, against and he's a Hall of Famer now. I
Well,
think
close to
Inoue is
50
very
fights, I believe.
yeah. So and Inoue is gonna be a Hall of Famer. I'm just not calling him like the best in his division, but he's gonna be an entertaining fighter. It's just you're not. It's just too early for you to. I was gonna say too early, but he's been fighting. He's like in his fourth or fifth weight class, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's what I was gonna tell you, right?
Yeah, he's
We
in his
can't
fourth.
be
So
too harsh on
it's not.
those kind of
Yeah,
guys.
Okay, so he's solidified, bro. He's
Yeah,
solidified. Now the question is, can he mess with the best? And this is at 126 or 122.
122.
So it's like I'm not even gonna bother with 126 if you're having resistance at 122, which is still a great feat. It's
Well,
just
he's gonna face a plateauing of his skills, right? Like
yeah,
for example, the fact that he is a pound for pound fighter, that just means that he has skills that transcends, the disadvantages presented to a fighter because of weight divisions, right? Height, reach, power tolerance, punch tolerance, rehydration, things of that sort, right? We know that Naoya can overcome those things up until four divisions, maybe five divisions from where he started, but definitely a four division. If he
mm,
goes into a fifth division, the same thing is going to happen to him like what happened to Canelo. He's gonna
yeah,
fight guys that are much more bigger, that can take a bigger punch because they're
stronger.
used to it. They have all these advantages, but that doesn't mean they're not great fighters. The
Yeah,
fact is, they're they're expected to get dropped. They're expected to get hurt. They're expected
yeah,
that those fights are gonna be much harder because they're facing so much. I mean, but that's why we appreciate him because if what mattered to him is complete dominance without testing himself, then he should just stay at 118.
right. Yeah, no, but I think he was expecting that dominance at 122, and now he's being careful, because he's getting dropped at 122, and this is physics, man. Now it's gonna take a lesser opposition to drop you at 126. Guys are just
Oh, of
hitting.
course, of course.
So now you're gonna have to kind of like cherry pick, bro. Like in a sense, you have to think about it, bro. Like Manny is like his height is Inoue's height, I think. So
Well, that's a tough word to say. You said cherry picking. I say careful matchmaking because
yeah,
I mean,
okay, yeah.
yeah,
Because you know why?
because
Because I
so
still
far
think
he hasn't done that, bro. So far he hasn't done that.
but one day, bro, he's not gonna get up.
Well, that's why he has to maneuver carefully. Like for example, if he goes up to 126, the first fight he has to take on should be somebody like Angelo Leo or Nick Ball. He should not fight
Mm,
Rafael Divino Espinosa. He should leave that guy for the end, right? Because that's
yes.
going to be his toughest task.
Hell
But
yeah.
Angelo Leo, Angelo
See,
Leo is great,
yeah,
but he's
because
a
he didn't display the heart that Divino did, right? And that's what in a way thrives off of, right? His heart and his will. He's gonna face another guy with will, just as strong as his. It's like, and he's tall. So yeah, I see what you're saying because Leo was like, "Oh shit!" He knocked out when he knocked out Venado. He was
yeah.
like, "Yup, I did that." Like there wasn't, he didn't display the heart. It was that hook that we're talking about. But hook, that hook, man, I'm telling you, bro. Like I want to make money off that hook. I know Leo can knock out Inoue, bro. Like if you can put Venado's
Yeah.
never been hurt, bro. Like this, I was so shocked when he put him to sleep. I was like, bro, this guy. I always thought this guy had a chin, you know, and I always thought because of his fighting style, it displayed how confident he was in his chin, and he just always had his hands down, and now it's like, dude, this guy, like Leo's, I want to lean towards Leo having the best hook in that division, the most lethal hook in that division. That or Venado was actually on the downtrend, because I also did
Well,
because I also
let's
did
remember
hear
that
rumors,
fight.
but I also did hear rumors that he already got knocked out in sparring, you know?
Yeah, well, let's not apply too much credence on rumors. I mean, if we have insider knowledge like that, where we know that, uh,
I know a guy
I mean, yeah, I know, no, and that's great. If you have it like that, that's good for, let's say, betting,
years
right?
ago. It was years ago,
Yeah,
but
let's say betting, but otherwise, let's just take it for rumors. They're working on some things, and he got knocked out. But how do you remember how that fight played out? Do you remember how El Venado Lopez was?
yeah, he looked totally normal. He didn't show no signs of, like he was getting hit, but like he just suddenly just fell, like just, you know, flattened out,
Who was
bro.
winning that fight?
It was close. It was
I
close.
think Venado was winning.
I want to say that too.
Yeah,
I
until he
want to
got
say
knocked out.
until he got knocked out. Yep.
So, so that doesn't mean that El Venado Lopez is out of the question. Like, for example, if you think
Well, the thing
Angelo
is,
Leo has what it
break.
takes to knock out Naoya, shouldn't it be right that Naoya starts by acclimating to 126 by fighting somebody like El Venado? Or is that too hard of a test? Like, let's
Um.
just think about it. If you were managing, if you were promoting or managing the career of Naoya anyway, and you wanted to make him a champion, let's say even a unified champion. Let's shoot for undisputed. If you wanted to make Naoya anyway a three division undisputed champion at 126, which fights would you take and what order? In order to one get him used to 126, prep him up to the biggest task, which in my opinion is Rafael Divina Espinosa. What fighters would you have him take in what order?
Damn. I was gonna say the guy, Shushu Carrington, or or
Smart.
the or the guy, Ruben Villa lost to Sagawa.
Sagawa.
Um, I'm trying to think. There's so many, bro. There's so
Those are
many.
actually very good
Yeah,
fights for him to start off on.
yeah. Maybe even like a Ruben Villa if he wants to get a somewhat of a lighter touch. But
And
that's also an
with all due
opportunity.
respect, why would it be? With all due respect, why would you consider Ruben Villa to be a lighter touch?
The power, and
Okay,
that's
yes, but not the
that-
skills. The
not the
skills are good,
skills, but those skills in a way has skills like that too, though. You know,
except he has power.
except he has power exactly.
Smart
So
man. I agree with you. I agree with you. Now,
yeah,
let's say that he could get over fighting that guy. If he could beat Ruben Villa, um, who's next? I'll give you some names if you need to. But you obviously mentioned a lot of good names that I think are very good start. Fights to acclimate yourself. But who would be next if you beat Ruben Villa? If he's able to get past that guy, who would you have him fight?
hold on, I'm looking right now.
Neri moved up to 126, by the way.
Oh, he did, huh?
Yeah.
Damn.
Joet Gonzalez
No,
is
I would.
there also.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Joet Gonzalez.
Uh-huh.
Uh,
Robesi Ramirez is there,
yeah, but that's gonna be like a bigger fight because he's a big name, bro. Like, he's a still gold medalist.
but
That's
he
still
has
like
some quit in him.
he does have quit in him.
He
Uh,
does have quit in him.
but you gotta have those. You gotta have those fights to where they can compare you to those guys that you're actually trying to fight. Like the guy, like like the Sagawa guy. Like
Mhm.
once you fight him, it's a good barometer for the Shushu fight. Or if you
Shoot,
fight,
fight.
yeah, or if you fight, what's his name, Robesi,
Uh-huh.
that's a good barometer for the Rafael Davino fight.
Okay, what about Brandon Figueroa? What do you think
He's
about fighting him?
he's PBC, so
Well, I know. I'm just saying, like,
oh,
let's just say that, let's say Turkey gets involved. Would you have him fight Brandon Figueroa after fighting uh, Ruben Villa? I think that might be good because Brandon Figueroa is a very high output come forward fighter. So he would prepare him for somebody like Nick Ball, right?
I got a better lighter touch, right?
Who?
Carlos Castro, the guy that
Carlos Castro.
the guy that wobbled Stephen Fulton, um, the guy that actually he gave Stephen Fulton issues, bro, and he actually lost to Brandon Figueroa by knockout already. He lost to Luis Neri, but he wobbled Stephen Fulton, bro, and that's another fight to set up. You know, a Stephen
Mhm.
Fulton fight. You got to get the guys that beat those guys first. You can't go. Maybe you can go straight to the dogs, but that's what he did at 122. He was messing with a bunch of guys that had lost already to the Akhmadalievs and and the and the and the Naries, you know. So get those guys, get the crumbs from the floor, and then you go get the cheese. Nah, just kidding. But yeah, um,
Okay, so let's say that one. I would probably put him better up there with. Yeah, Carlos Castro's a good one. Yeah, Carlos Castro's a good one. Um,
so many, bro. It's
These are the
like
champions, by the way.
they
Ralph
look at
Espinosa,
matchmakers.
yeah.
They look at the style, and then it all they have a whole bunch of fighters, and it gets filtered out, right? They're like, this is I'm looking for this type of fighter, and boom, half of the fighters go away. All right, I want the fighters that have lost to the champ. All right, it gets filtered out even more, and you probably end up with 10 of them, and you'll probably end up with five of them you never even heard of, So uh any of those guys, I need to see how physically good you look at 126 first. Like we need that foundation built
Yep, I
first,
agree. I
you know.
agree. These are the champions, by the way. Espinosa, Stephen Fortin, or Ray Vargas, depending on who you see for the WBC. Nick Ball and Angelo Leo. Um, in other words, let's just skip the line. Okay, you have a very good understanding of how to manage a fighter in order to prep him for the bigger names. If you got all those guys under this belt, right? The
Chop
guys
chop,
that
chop Gonzalez, bro.
no, no,
That's
no.
too much. That's
Yeah, that is
dangerous.
too much. That's too much.
Sorry,
And
that
the
guy
reason
can't
why I'm
last.
saying, look, I know it's probably um it must sound quite bad to say Chop Chop Gonzalez, right? Because you're like, but who has Chop Chop fight? Is he even at 126
Yeah, he's
or
at
is he at 130?
126. He's at 126, but I realized he's like the toolbox, like he's a dog though, but
Hmm.
I see him getting outboxed by a pure boxer, but he's like a Virgil Ortiz, bro. He's fucking a dog, bro. He's one of my favorite fighters
Yeah, he's
one of my
great,
favorite
bro.
fighters.
Yeah,
He
no, he's great, bro.
yeah.
But the reason I wouldn't put him up there, look, if I was managing Naoya Inoue, look, it sounds like a good fight for him to take on the fact that, well, who has Chop Chop beaten, right? He's a prospect. He doesn't have the big names. As far as I'm concerned, he doesn't have any gatekeeper, former champion types,
He
right?
fought he fought
But
Dana Coolwell, who fought Shushu on the Jake Paul undercard, and they both went to decision with him.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So and I think he stopped that guy, right?
No, they both went to decision.
No, with Chop Chop too.
You would chop too. Yep.
Oh,
So
Caldwell is good then. Okay,
yeah.
so yeah, it's because of that you don't want to put him up there. High risk, low reward, right?
Yep.
This guy would be an undefeated fighter. That means he doesn't know how to lose. That means he's going to go out there completely thinking that there is no possibility that he's going to lose. The mentality game would be on the side of, well, both of them. But you would talk about a very young fighter that is very good at catching and shooting and countering. He's a lot like Canelo, bro. And he's
True.
very powerful. A chop chop.
Yeah.
Gonzalez. He's one of the best catch and shoot fighters right now. I love that
Relentless.
stuff, by the
Yeah.
way. Now,
Relentless.
yeah, but it's again a high risk, low reward because it wouldn't necessarily pay big money, right? Um, and some people would even consider it like a soft touch. Like, why are you fighting a guy with no name? So I don't know if that's a viable option. I would think it's a good option to acclimate yourself, but again, because that guy is feisty, because he's very good offensively and defensively, he's powerful and undefeated. I think he should just skip that guy and try to fight somebody like, well, maybe Ray Vargas, right? Ray Vargas, he is high output. He is tall and lanky,
He's a
so
130
he
pounder,
might
no?
help him. Hmm?
He's a 130 pounder.
Well, it says he's Reese's champion in Reese's at 126.
Oh,
Stephen
okay.
Fulton, he has been granted the full title. I guess I'm not too sure how. Stephen Fulton hasn't beat anybody for it. But I think Ray Vargas would be a style much closer to Rafa than, let's say, Nick Ball or Angelo Leo. So Ray Vargas would prepare him for somebody like Rafa, because if Rafa wants to, even though he has never done it, Rafa can fight on the back foot, right? Because it's easier to step on the back foot when you already are so tall and out of range from your opposing fighter. You just take one step and then you're way on the back, and Rafa can still throw a lot of punches. But after that, I would probably say there's nobody that would prepare you for Nick Ball. Nobody. Maybe Venado would, but Nick Ball is Pitbull Cruz at 126, bro. When does he fight Nick Ball?
Um, Well, that's a great fight, but that's gonna be a hard fight to make. Just because he's across the street and all that, and Bob owns fucking Inoue, bro. Like he's gonna move him the traditional way, and you see Nick Ball kind of getting not spoon fed, but he is like on a faster track, fighting bigger names, and Inoue's just taking his time, you know.
Hmm.
So you have two guys that are moving at different paces right now in their careers, so it looks hard to make, Like it's just the way they move, just don't feel like it's doable, But I could be wrong. I do want that fight. Nick Ball, I want to see a lot of guys uh fight Nick Ball, just because of his style. It pisses me off. I want that style out of here, bro. Like you like please show these kids how long you last with this style. That way they don't do this in their careers. Because
Well,
it's a dirty tactic, bro. Like the way he fights, it's like, bro, one day you're not gonna have that chin anymore. Like you just trying to. It's not. It's annoying, right? It's not even. I guess with the right guy in front of him, it would be entertaining, like a Pitbull Cruz, but there ain't no Pitbull Cruz in this division. Maybe like the Angelo Leos and the Chop Chops of the worlds. Maybe those guys are gonna be like gonna hook with you. And
mm.
but honestly, like you're just gonna make a dirty ass fight against the Stephen Fultons, against the Ribisi Ramirez, like against those boxers, bro.
The homie Ricky says Nick Ball style pisses you off. The Pitbull Cruz and Mike Tyson style. What the f is Drew on about? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if you said Nick
Hey,
Ball style
I
pissing you
deleted
off, but man, I love
deleted the
Nick Ball.
I deleted the Manny Pacquiao video, by the way. I
Dude,
deleted it.
you're so sentimental, bro.
Yeah.
No, you're sentimental, bro. You gotta man up to that, bro. Like you can't just because I say that that's not a perfect video doesn't mean it shouldn't go up there, bro. That's like a memory. I wish I even had a second of having looked at Manny Pacquiao in the eyeball.
Oh my
You not only looked at Manny Pacquiao in the eyeball, you chased after his butt for a whole mile, bro. Come on, bro. Nah, you shouldn't erase that, man. That's a keeper, bro. So look. Look, I guess what we're trying to get at, right? Naoya Inoue does have a route to becoming undisputed at 126, but he has to do it similar to what he's doing right now. Actually, in fact, he has to do it much more cautiously than Naoya has been maneuvering at 122, right? You said that Naoya Inoue is fighting in a much lower pace than Nick Ball at his fights. Well, he started off incredibly quick at 122. He took on undefeated Stephen Fulton, right? An American at 21 wins, 0 losses. Knocked that guy out. Then he fought another guy, Marlon Tapales, who was a champion. Marlon Tapales had somehow gotten the win against MJ Akhmadaliev, right? He took on that guy, another champion. He took on another champion, and Luis Neri, right? He took on Luis Neri, a Mexican guy who had been banned from going to fight in Japan because of prior pet use and conduct issues. And then he took on two relatively safer fights. Ji Hoon Kim and Ramon Cardenas. Ramon Cardenas dropped him. Luis Neri dropped him. And now he's fighting Murajan Akhmadaliev, even though he was scheduled to fight David Picasso, another relatively unknown and heralded Mexican. So I understand what you're saying about taking a softer approach at becoming undisputed. But I mean, man, I think if anybody deserves to take on fights you know, to not only recover, but to continue to establish yourself and build the name recognition at a weight division, I think Naoya Inoue is setting the bar.
Well, yeah, he is, but you see, how Top Rank move their fighters, bro. The Richard Torres, the Abdullah Masons, like that's how they call it the Top Rank diet, and they feed them fights that make them look good. And I don't mean that in a bad way, because sometimes some of those guys are names, with similar with with names on their resume with champions or of some sort, and yeah, that's how they move their fighters, man. So they're gonna take their time with Inoue, regardless of who he is, because they see a chink in his armor, and they don't want to mess up the bag. They do take chances. You know, they're gonna have to, at least. That's just the nature of boxing. Before you start looking bad, start looking like a duck. But they're gonna take their time, bro. Like Nick Ball, I feel like he gets what he wants with fights. Like not during the fight, but I'm saying Eddie's is a guy. Or is he a Queens? Is he Frank Warren or is he Eddie's guy?
Who? Nick
Nick
Ball is Frank Warren,
Frank Warren, yeah. So
Queensbury.
Frank Warren's like the Bob Arum of UK, but they take more chances, and they have more, obviously, more fans um to sell tickets, to, and they love boxing over there. So I feel like that in itself will allow Ball to to get bigger names, and maybe same thing with Inoue. Maybe there's like a market out there that we don't know of that Inoue has, but UK is known for their loyalty, bro. And I don't know if Japan is loyal like that, to their fighters and shit like that, but that is their only guy. That's literally the best Japanese fighter of all time, right there. So hopefully he does change the bar, change the way we look at Top Rank, how they move their fighters, and hopefully fights the Vinos and the Nick Balls, you know, um, because I want to know answers, man. Like I want to know, uh, like whose style is the best. That's why I hate the Mike Tyson and the Pitbull Cruz style, because it's so come forward. Like it did not last a long time. Mike Tyson got pummeled by Evander Holyfield, got pummeled by Lennox Lewis. It's like people forget about that, and Pitbull's capable of getting pummeled by other guys too, but he's fighting, he's bringing guys up like Angel Fierro. So it's like, bro, you ain't gonna last a long time with that style. Um, I want to, I want. That's why I hate it. It's like show these kids that you will not last a long time in the sport with that style, unless you were to fight a pillow fisted fighter. But eventually, you're just gonna end up looking like a duck. You know. But yeah, man, um that's why I don't like that style, man. It's just I'm always gonna gravitate towards the boxer puncher, and so yeah. What's up?
Yeah, no, I get it, but so look, I guess long story short, you agree that tonight's PBC event, really like most PBC events, I mean, it's lamentable to say, regrettable to say that PBC only has about 3 or 4 fight cards, and they're always pay per view. It's a safe bet in your eyes that this is a stellar card that is not to be missed, right?
Well, yeah. Say it again. I'm sorry.
You're not gonna miss the PBC event, bro. That's what I said, bro.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm sorry. I'm getting my charger right now. All right, fuck it. Cool. Yeah, I was on the verge of fucking my laptop dying right now. But yeah, man, there's a lot of good fights, man. I'm gonna be tuning in. Are you guys working today?
No, I'm working today. I'm probably gonna go.
Hiking?
Nah, what? You want to go hiking or what?
Nah, I want to watch these fights.
Yeah, I know it's still early though, bro.
Is it?
Yeah, it's only like gonna be one, bro. Come on, the
Hey,
fight start at 7.
what's up, Rick? You trying to watch fights or what? I have the house to myself, but you guys come through over here. I have the projector, or I can go over there. But
Oh,
yeah.
whatever, bro. Like, I mean, it's fine. We can go to your pad. Maybe I can look at what I like in order to steal it from you later.
Uh, so what? Like, what do you mean?
Nah, nothing, man. No, no, no. No. We have the only thing is the reason why we have fights at my parents' home is because they're there and they can't really go anywhere with my mother being,
Oh
disabled like
yeah.
that. But yeah, I mean, we can go anywhere. I can probably put on the pay per view event because I will be paying for it, bro. I'm not gonna be Uh, but here's the thing, though. In case you guys are hardcore boxing fans that want to watch boxing, but you guys don't want have the money for a pay per view, or two, don't like to stream or don't have any streaming devices. Here's the thing: on Matchroom, on DAZN, for no extra, premium, you can watch incredible fights. I'm talking about Rodriguez versus Cafu, and that. We're gonna run that card by you guys right now, guys. You guys are probably gonna be impressed with this card. It's really a
Okay.
very yeah, it's a very good fight. Fumelela Kafu, who has had some very good moments. I believe he's undefeated. He's going to be fighting Jesse Bam Bam Rodriguez for another unification fight. Right? We already know that Rodriguez is one of the most exciting smaller guys. Right? That's going to be a super flyweight championship fight for the WBO and WBC unification. Diego Pacheco, guys. Diego Pacheco is going to be fighting Trevor McCumbee. Now, remember, Trevor McCumbee is the guy who dropped Caleb Plant. He made Caleb Plant look bad, and I believe at the end of the day, he ended up getting like defeated, right, by Caleb Plant, which led us to believe that Trevor McCumbee does not have what it takes to seal a win by stopping his opponents. But Trevor McCumbee is really, really the guy that set up Caleb Plant for obviously some incredible defeats. Caleb Plant has now recovered from that Canelo win. He looked very mediocre against Trevor McCumbee, and that's okay because Trevor McCumbee had been granted an exception by the United States of America in order to fight at 70 years of age as a pro. This guy was going to be the next big thing, guys. But then life happened. He ended up having to sell gas at a one of those convenience stores and things of the sort. He's back into boxing. Trevor McCumbee is going to be fighting a very tall order and Diego Pacheco. That's a very good fight. We have Austin Amo Williams is going to be fighting a guy who I've never heard of by the name of Etinosa Oliha. And we're going to be watching Amari Jones versus Alfredo Rodolfo Blanco. Do you know who Alfredo Rodolfo Blanco is? Dream.
Alfredo, what's his last name?
Alfredo Rodolfo Blanco, Blanco.
Hmm. Sounds familiar, man. I get it. It kind of sounds like Lindolfo,
Yeah, he does.
but nah. Uh-uh. What happened?
So here's the thing. Let me read these comments because, man, I apologize, guys. I know you guys have been very chatty today, but this stupid StreamYard thing, it doesn't. It's a very messy platform to go live on, so I miss so much. It's hard for me to put up your comments or even answer them right. Homie Ricky says he's off today. He wants you to know where we're watching the fights. Usyk and Dubois fight soon. Yep, we know that, but we're not paying for that pay-per-view. They're fighting in a little bit. The undercard started at 9:30, so they should probably be walking any moment now. uh the Mexican G says Crawford's wife should go hiking. The Mexican. You're so mean, bro. The homie Ricky says white cowgirls with fat old asses. Yeah, yeah. There was a lot of them at the rodeo. Oh, he wants to know if we're gonna go to the rodeo. The Mexican Jesus Pacheco's gonna do that boy bad. Trevor McCumbee gonna got stopped by Pillow Fist Plant. Um, yeah, he did get stopped by Pillow Fist Plant. Uh, and the homie Ricky says that Diego Pacheco is effing him up. Dream, you're of a different thought, right? You think Trevor McCumbee is gonna knock out Diego Pacheco. Why do you say that? Oh, dream. The Mexican
Give me
cheese
a sec,
says,
Jim. Give me a sec,
yeah,
Jim.
Mexican cheese says Caleb Plant is allergic to Mexicans. And the homie Baker says that Diego Pacheco is messing up Trevor McCumbee. And the Mexican G says that Pacheco's going to do that boy bad. Guys, can you explain why you guys are of the impression that Trevor McCumbee has no other alternative than to get defeated and even knocked out and embarrassed by these guys? Why do you guys scratch off Trevor McCummy as a competitor. It doesn't make sense to me. He fought a very good fight against Caleb Plant. Yeah, he got defeated, but I think we were able to see his skill set, his resilience, and his punching power. So why do you guys discount this guy right here? Oh, homie Ricky answers. He says Trevor only gave Caleb Plant a tough fight because White stayed together like a masked Triple K rally. It's pay per view, haha, Turkey. Um, yeah. So the Daniel Dubois versus Alexander Usyk is pay per view, Ricky, and only the two main event fights are good. Everything else was pretty much names that I know that you wouldn't heard. The Mexican G says because Trevor McCummy has no gas tank. Trevor McCum, Trevor, Trevor McCum, Trevor McCum. He's a 2 to 3 round fighter. Okay. Oh, that muscle is from juice. What? Wow. Who cares, guys? Who cares if they're juicing? I just want to know, are they gonna win? Like, who cares about juicing? Like, man, I just want to know if Trevor McCumby has any chance. But I guess maybe you guys are making good points. Trevor McCumby is a juicer that gets tired and has no gas tank because he's juicing up. All right, all right, all right, all right. Um, okay. Then what about Austin Williams versus Etinosa Oliha? You guys know anything about Oliha? Who's gonna win that? Ammo? Is he gonna redeem himself, or what's going on? And Jesse Bam Rodriguez, is he gonna get defeated by Kafu? Guys, you guys are the smart ones. I'm just asking questions. Does Kafu have what it takes to beat Bam Bam Rodriguez, Lomexchenko? Look, homie, just because we bought snack products does not mean the same thing as juicing. Yes, my son is taking snack products, and but and they're expensive. It's a sacrifice that we're willing to make. Yes, it's starting to make his testicles shrink, but it doesn't matter. At least he has a competitive advantage, and he's sacrificing. He's paying a lot of money. Is paying a lot of money in order to buy his snack products. So don't be judging him because he spends on his health and his well-being and strengthening and condition, and you're not. That's crazy, bro. Like now all of a sudden we're gonna go against snack fighters. Wow. Bam Rodriguez is a dork. Yeah, you know what, Mexican, he is a dork. Like I've seen him interviews and he's into like ninja stuff and he's into like I don't know, like dressing weird. That I mean, I get it. Yeah, Rodriguez is a bit of a dork, but dorks get the girls too, bro. I don't know if you know this
He's more
Mexican.
like a. I know you like to critique people's gothic, but he's a little on that like goth. Like he's into rock and all that. So he's it's different. I know back in the day it was black and white. No foofy, nothing too crazy, like nothing too like I don't want to say the word gay, but
Who?
like not like gothic people. Like now it's like switch, like the it's like anime
Yeah.
fused with gothic, and so he's on that vibe, on that anime vibe. Like he wear anime shirts, so that's pretty much like the a trend right now. People wear like funky like shoes. I know Rick likes the Pokemon sandals and shit. He wears those. I know Rick wears it.
Oh
You know the
man,
the you know the pillow.
Pokemon sandals, bro.
Yeah, no, not the Pokemon sandals, but they're like giant pillows as sandals and shit on your feet, and they're like Pokemon. Like the dino. He wears like the dino stompers, bro, and they're like the
Yeah.
dinosaur.
Yeah, yeah. No, no, no. I seen him like I wear Crocs, right? Because I go a lot to the river and the beach and whatnot. And he bought some like I don't know if they're knockoff Crocs, but they're like Crocs, but they have instead of the design of a Croc, they're designed of like a like a like a shark. So yes, yeah, he's walking around in sharks. Oh man! And you know what'd be funny? Some water shoes for like river and stuff like that, but
Yeah.
it's shaped like a penis, bro. That'd be
Oh my god, that's crossed the line, bro. He crossed the line, bro. That's big pause right
that'd be
there. That's
funny,
pause.
bro.
I mean, it can
Oh
still flip
crap.
your ass. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, 501s cost about $80 now. Mexico. Yeah, you know what, DMG. Even when I was a young person, right? The 501s were very expensive. They were $50. I'm talking about in the 80s, uh, 90s, right? That was obviously broke, and we had a friend that would steal them. Like he would go to the mall and he would get like 10 or 20 of them. He stack them up. He'd take orders like, what size do you guys want and everything like that. And then he would just like go in there and just like pack a whole backpack full and just walk out and sell them for like $20, right? That was back in the day. That was back in the day. Um, but yeah, now they basically are $80, right? And they're still great pants, but they're too baggy for me. Like 501s, they're too baggy.
So
I
five
even
one,
think the 511s are baggy. I used to wear 510s because I have that kind of body where I actually look good with skinny pants. I'm not like one of those guys that their belly sticks out and their legs look all skinny. No, nah. I've always been able to rock skinny pants good. And the only reason I still wear them is because they fit me. They fit me real good. I have a very good looking physique for those kind of pants, and a lot of people don't rock them like that. You can't rock them like that. Their butts are too big, or their thighs they're too thick, so they look like they're like like when they look like the kind that lay down in bed and they're pushing him up or asking the wife, please help me push him up, push him up because he got a big old ass. Nah, I can say that I rock Levi pants, especially 510s, 511s, very well. Dream, is Kafu in danger? Is Kafu gonna lose, or does Kafu have what it takes to beat Rodriguez?
Kafu has
Yeah,
pop, bro.
he has
He's got
pop, right?
yeah, he's got some pop. And with these lighter weights, bro, it's like I don't know. It's like I'm not trying to exaggerate, but like it's like the dimensions are a lot smaller, so it's a lot
Mhm,
more speed involved.
mhm,
So it's hard to judge these lower fighters because you don't know if it's the heart or the speed or the power, and the bigger you are, the easier you can identify what they're good at. But when they're
mhm.
small, man, they move fast, they hit hard, and it's like really all about heart, you know? Because I feel like Bam Bam hits hard as well, you know? So uh it's hard to tell, bro, because Kafu in the lighter weights, you really gotta hit like it's hard to generate power in the lower weights. I feel like those guys are hitting the hardest they could, and it's just not like a lot of pop, bro. So I feel like Bam is just at a level that no one really is on because of that footwork, you know? So that's really what separates him because their speed throughout the whole division.
Yeah.
And I think Kafu got that speed and he has power, but he's not
Mhm.
a he doesn't look like a technician in there. He just looks like he's trying to set it up for that big shot. That's all I've seen from him. I haven't seen him uh fight a full fight like I haven't seen a full fight of his, but I just seen like highlights and the way uh the way he punches the bag and the way like his conditioning. He looks like in really good shape, bro. And he looks like a dog, bro. But um, I can't say. I'm gonna just go with my intuition and say that
Mhm.
Bam Bam's gonna win like by knockout,
So,
or
Dream,
I'll
are
let you
you
know. Yeah.
are you a person like me that gets excited for these type of fights, where you get to be introduced to fighters? Because look, I
Yeah,
watch more, like, right, like, I mean,
yeah.
anybody else is probably like Kafu, who's Kafu or whatever. Well, I'm like, Kafu, yeah, I want to know what Kafu is.
It's gotta be a guy that I gravitate towards,
Yeah.
it's I can't really gravitate towards Kafu. Like, yes, I'm curious about him, but
Mhm.
this is at the lower weights. Like, my interest hasn't really been in the lower weights like that. It's just really been bad, you know, and maybe Chocolatito, you know, but
Mhm.
it's really like 126 is when I start to really care a little more about like the divisions and stuff like that, you know, because
Mhm.
the heavier you are, the bigger name you are. You know, like if you're a world champ, you know, like Bam is just it's hard to get recognition for him because he's so small, you know. So yeah, I think I had to be introduced to a guy around my area or a guy that's like unique at least. He doesn't have to be black, white, Asian. It could be any of those. He just has to be a unique story. Like I said, like Keone's story is unique. You know, it's all over the like internet. He came out in the news, but stories like that is what
Mhm.
kind of started his engine a little bit. He's seen how much people heard about his story, and it gave him energy. You know, like he was going through something very hard in his life. You know that people rarely go through. Because a lot of people were losing their lives during COVID, and a lot of
Mhm.
people lost their parents during COVID.
Yeah.
Um, so for him to do it all by himself, raising his two little brothers, that's a story, bro. Regardless of how far you make it, you made it this far already. It's a story that I'm gravitating towards. So I hear Chop Chop's story all the time because I watch Ellie Setback, and uh, he just reminds me of someone from Selena's. You know, he just and he's a hard worker. And he's just so I'm like I gravitate towards him, and
Mhm.
yeah, and also I like Abdullah Mason, like stuff like that. You know, so um, it's got to be a good story behind it. Bam Bam is just a really good boxer, stands out, but it's hard for me to really get into like to gain more interest like a dude like Kafu, you know.
Yeah,
So
yeah, no, I get you, I get you. Let's read a couple of these comments. I figured out how to read the comments, guys. You know how we do it? You don't do
uh,
it through the StreamYard. You go into your channel on another device, and then you start reading as if you were a viewer. The Mexican cheese says, Bam's favorite Mexican restaurant is probably Taco Bell. So, okay, DMG, man, bro. I hope you're not clowning on Taco Bell food, bro. Taco Bell food is. I'm a big fan of Taco Bell. Like I'm a big fan, bro. Like I mean, I don't get the runs. Like I know everybody gets the runs. I don't get the runs when I eat Taco Bell at all. I think one of the most refreshing lighter meals that you can get on the cheap is crunchy tacos, right? A crunchy tortilla with nice, fresh, cold, shredded lettuce, nice, fresh, shredded cheese, and then that whatever kind of meat it is. I don't know, maybe soy food, soy with fake, I don't know, beef flavor and soy sauce, whatever it is. That stuff is great, guys. You put on some Dablo fire sauce or some fire, man. You're good, bro. I would never say nothing bad of Taco Bell. Um, see what he so if
Taco
Bam
Bell is
likes
the healthiest
Taco
one.
Bell, yeah,
Taco Bell is the healthiest one out of all the fast foods.
really.
It's the healthiest one.
Wow. See, now you're making me even feel better about being a fan of Taco Bell.
The
So,
flavor, they all worse because of they're bad for your hormone or your testosterone.
oh, that's horrible, bro. Testosterone.
Yeah,
Yeah, no way. I love my testosterone, bro. That's what keeps my thing going. Dee 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 dee. Bam
I love
probably.
testosterone.
Bam probably gravitates towards Tex-Mex food while wearing his Falls Cowboys jersey of Dak Prescott while telling Cali, rapping Cali. Oh, okay. Uh,
Tex-Mex food is trash.
Yeah, well, Tex-Mex is what like it's like wannabe Mexican food with cheese on everything, right? Cheese and cream.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah, I think it's
Yeah,
like
it's
Native American food or something.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. I don't know what the Tex-Mex is. I think the Tex-Mex is like a fajita, right? Like shredded cheese with chicken or beef and cheese and shredded
I thought it
peppers,
was a
bell
poncho.
peppers.
No, I'm just
Hmm?
kidding.
I don't know what these guys are talking about. Bam probably calls what the Mexican G says. Bam probably calls tacos. Hmm. Tacos, tacos, tacos. Hmm. I'm not too sure what how to pronounce that. Tacos. Tacos. Well, the homie Ricky says I like watching. Oh nah, I'm not gonna read that, bro. Come on. No, if there was an example of flooding the market with trash videos, it's his reporting. Eli Setback. Uh-huh. I'm gonna tell you something. Comes back and he says, "You introduced me to Ali Setback videos." What you mean?
Mhm. Mhm.
Oh
Yeah,
man, when he was tolerable then, yeah, he's gotten much worse now. In fact, Fight Hype, Fight Hub, and the Boxing Voice all suck. The Boxing Voice is pretty legitimate, right? Dream, it's still
yeah. No,
very good, reputable.
he's just hating, bro. Like he doesn't
Yeah,
even
no, no,
have
no, no,
time.
no.
He
I
don't even
understand what
watch
he's saying about
boxing
Fight
anymore.
Hype and Fight Hub. I get that. And Ellie Setback, I know exactly what he's saying. They're filler episodes. They don't really do much. They follow their fighters, they kiss up to them, they don't really provide anything of substance. But the Boxing Voice is different because they interview, they go in depth, they
Yeah, they're by
promote
far
fighters. Yeah, they're good,
they're,
right?
they're the most different, bro. They're the most. Don't get me wrong. The other guys are they know the people that like they know more people, but the boxing voice they know just as much, but they they have like a better I don't know what like brand I guess
Mhm.
you know what they do with their channel like they offer betting advice if you want to
Mhm.
get the membership and then um you can also get on the phone with Bill Haney or like some of the other guys that he interviews like a lot of guys do that they're like oh just post your question but yeah, sometimes it's hard to get that question off because so many people are doing it. But if you pay like $3 or $4, it's like he'll get it off. And
Yeah,
sometimes,
it's not a bad price to tell you the truth. $3 for a membership, that's not bad
Mhm.
at all.
Yeah,
In order to
and,
comment, to chime in with your questions, and yeah,
and you
it's a
call in
legit.
for free. You call in for free
Oh,
once a day, which is like enough for me. People just want to talk to the wall and for 10 minutes, and which is cool. But you have to pay like $5 every 3 minutes or something like that. But But yeah, it's just like yeah, and they also like and they offer Border Wars, which is like a little,
yep.
like that's another cool little thing. Like I think they're the only podcast that's doing that, where you talk shit and they're like, "You want to fight?" Yeah. All
Yeah,
right.
yeah. I
Let's
like
do it.
that. I like that.
You know? Like yeah, that's unique.
In fact, one of the local gyms they have a fighter here that is in opposing. Well, it's not an opposing. It's just a different gym than ours, right?
Mhm.
And so my son, Rodeo week, he was over there, meeting girls and everything like that, and he ran into some guy. Some girl was interested in him or something like that, and the guy that she was with, probably like a friend or brother or whatever, he was a boxer from one of the other gyms, and he was obviously a bit inebriated, a little drunk, and he starts, talking to my son like, "Hey, like, who are you?" and this and that, and the guy's like, "Oh, I'm a boxer." And he's like, "Oh, that's cool. I'm a boxer too." And he wanted to like fight. And he's like, "Yeah, I'll meet you there on Friday. Meet me at my gym on Friday." Because he was picking up on some girl. My son's like, "Yeah, yeah, cool, bro." Like, yeah, yeah, whatever, bro. But that's how border wars start, right? You don't like a person or you have a difference of opinion, and this is able to set up fights for you to take on, and then hey, next thing you know, you're fighting. I actually respect that, right? Like, would you get yourself in a border war?
Yeah, I would. You know, because they're sanctioned. Rick trying to like compete. I guess I don't know what's going on with him. He's like Chicano tube, and I'm like, bro, that's not even. That's like, nah, bro. You're just trying to compete. I don't know. Like Chicano, they have a bunch of homies that beef with each other, and they turn off all the lights, and they close all the doors, and they say, "Get it on," you
Yeah.
know. uh, and and the boxing voice, it's through USA Boxing. You actually get to fight someone your weight, your age, and yeah. So that's why I like it.
No, but Chicano Tube is cool though. Chicano Tube is cool because if you want to know more about culture and stuff like that, and the going on through the world through the lens of a brown and Mexican American fighter, Chicano Tube is good. He's pretty fun, and the fact that he also puts on events between other channels and probably ex gangsters or whatever you want to call them, dropouts. I think that's pretty cool, right? Because once a gangster, you're always gonna have a gangster side to you, right? Once you're a bad dude, you can always tap into your bad side and be like, man,
Yeah,
I
but
miss those days.
I want to know if we can make the same weight. If you have my experience or whatever the case is, you know, like if you're fighting someone that's 20 pounds heavier than you, it's like, man, I wish this shit was sanctioned.
Mhm.
You know?
True. Yeah, it would just make it fairer. It would make it more legitimate
Yeah,
instead of just rolling out of bed and starting to fight. Yeah, no, I get that. I get that. So, okay, Dream. Uh, I think you should probably hop on your streaming device, right, in order to watch Daniel Dubois versus Alexander Usyk. Let me ask you something to wrap up this here live, right? Because I mean, we could chat about boxing all the time, but we also got to get ready to go watch the fights ourselves. I don't know if we're gonna meet at your pad or mine or my parents, right? But does Alexander Usyk lose tonight?
man, I've been hearing a lot of people screaming about that. I'm not sure if it's the UK loyalty or if he can do that, but you know how social media is. Social media is, man. They'll they're pretty good with pinpointing you and showing you why Daniel Dubois could win, right? By showing that body shot, that essentially like dropped Usyk, but they called it a low blow, right? I look at that and it makes me, I feel torn, you know, because man, I think he can land that. I think he can drop him, bro. Because I'm not saying Usyk has quit in him, but that's probably his weakness right there is the body shot. Like that's his, yeah. Like I'm a little nervous for him, just a little bit, you know. Yeah, because that power was getting him a little wary, you know, in there, and he was like kind of finding timid. He fought a lot differently versus Fury, right? With Fury, he wasn't really scared of anything. Uh,
Mhm.
with Daniel Dubois, you could tell the mentality changed, and yeah, I'm still sticking to my guns. I still think Usyk's gonna outbox him, and it's gonna go shit. It's hard to tell if it's going to distance just because Daniel Dubois did quit. You know, uh,
Well, okay, so Daniel Dubois leaves many with the impression that he's has a bit of quit in him. Can you remind us what fight or fights allowed you to think that he's a quitter or that he has some quit in him?
the
That his
Usyk
dog ain't all
fight.
there.
It's just the Usyk fight that I remember. I'm pretty sure Rick Rick was telling me other instances of showing
Yeah,
quit.
so you don't think that Joe Joyce one is the one that
Yes,
leaves the
yes,
impression that he has some quit?
yeah. He has quit because that's the one he got. They got a knockout in.
You mean
Um,
the one that his face was halfway broken? That's
whose
what you call quitting?
whose face?
Daniel Dubois' face had been broken in that fight. Daniel Dubois' orbital bones, on one of them at least, on one of his orbitals, it was absolutely broken from like halfway into the ending of that fight. So like, why wouldn't
I
he
mean, there's no
quit? I mean, the
excuse.
pain was intolerable.
There's no excuse though to quit. Like your body's your body. You have to hold accountability for what you go through. It's like, oh, you're, are you gonna go the distance, or you gonna, like, that's your fault for not having defense. Like, um, I don't know. Like, I feel like that it's a brutal sport, man. You can't give excuses like that. It's like you're telling me that his chin is breakable, pretty much. So
No, no, yeah, everybody's chin is breakable. The only thing is, not everybody's chin has been broken in the ring, right? Like
yeah,
even
he broke it again.
Naoya Inoue. Look at Naoya Inoue. He had his chin broken, and by
Didn't break
Nonito
his
Donaire
chin,
in
dude.
the very first fight. And what happened? He ended up fighting a different fight. He almost ended up losing that fight because of the way that he fought so negatively, or
That's still his heart, right? He never quit.
because
So
that was in his orbital, though. I mean, you have to ask yourself,
so you're
uh,
you're saying chin and orbital, two different types of pains?
yeah, one could blind you for the rest of your life. The other one
But
might just keep you off for 6 months.
I think I think it just depends, right? Like one can actually mess with your breathing with your chin, right? And the other one, your orbital is obviously like, it's like, dude, like I'm gonna go blind, and it's more like the doctor, right? The doctor would see that because usually, you know, um, if you have heart, you would keep going, but it didn't
Oh,
break,
his eye
bro.
was completely swollen, bro. He couldn't see from his left eye. In other words, you're not watching in three, four dimensions. You're watching in a two-dimensional sphere. You're not seeing half of all the punches coming from you. And the punches that are coming from you from that eye happen to be the jab. I mean, it's the right eye, actually. I think it was the right eye. So he couldn't see anything from his right eye, which happens to be his power side. Right, the jab just broke his thing. Here, you are not a complete fighter. Then, when you have a jaw that's broken, you're a complete fighter because you can still see every punch coming. This guy had half of his punches completely uh, blinded to him from one of then a very notoriously powerful, heavy-handed fighter in Joe Joyce. Like, I mean, I don't think that's quitting, bro. If you cannot see punches and you're getting obliterated and your face is caved in and if everything is hurtful afterwards, it's only going to get better, bro. It has nothing to do with defense at the end. It just has to do with whether or not you even have a chance at winning then.
Well, quit is quit, right? You quit. If you quit, you quit. There's no way around it. Like, you have to throw those hard punches you did with AJ. You know, you got to restart your game plan in case you do break your chin again. So you don't have to quit. You know, um, you have to take accountability for your body, bro. Like, oh, my body, my, like my chin broke. That's why it's like, and like that means your body couldn't keep up. You know, so
Okay, so then
uh,
let's go up to the next fight that you said he displayed his weakness, his quitting it. Now,
mm,
Daniel Dubois fought and lost to this fighter that he's going to be fighting today, Alexander Usyk. When did he quit in that fight?
Rick, when did he quit? You told me. He's like, dude, because Rick is the one that's putting this in my head a little bit. With the bike being a quitter. Um, so yeah, he got dropped by a body shot, bro.
He got dropped by a body shot. He looked across to Alexander Usyk, and he allowed the count to go on until he was counted out, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
When
yeah, and
obviously that means that he could have gotten himself up, right? I mean, if he
he
got
quit.
bodied, okay. Do you remember when?
Are
Do
you
you
agreeing
remember
with
when
me?
that quit stop started? So even before that drop, right? This is the one fight that I have very high criticism for him for. Um, when he fought Alexander Usyk, he quit the moment he didn't get the victory. When he quote unquote dropped, and I do believe he dropped Alexander Usyk to a body shot. You could call it low or whatever, but it was clean and clear enough for me to allow it to go by. When they allowed Alexander Usyk to take his 5 minutes and they robbed Daniel Dubois from that knockout, because that's what I believe it should have been, that's when he got discouraged. He just you saw his energy, his shoulders just slump down, and said, "You know what, man, that's it, bro. They robbed me." And from there, the way he approached the fight, like his lack of energy, his deflated attitude was just so clear, bro. That he was out of the fight. That he was so discouraged with the judge. He was so discouraged to fight on because, in his impression, there was some injustice created. He quit fighting because he felt that he was robbed of a victory. That is a mental weakness. I don't care so much about the weakness, a physical weakness that allows you to quit. Because you know what? If you've ever felt pain, right, like real true pain, it crushes anybody, right? Especially a pain that blinds you. But a physical failure is to continue fighting, that is much more understandable than a mental failure, because the mentality could be crushed at any moment, whether or not you're taking any physical harm or not. That's the fight that made me think that Daniel Dubois has some quit in him. The fact that he refused to fight with the same vigor, energy, and determination to win in the very first Alexander Usyk fight, and the fact that he couldn't get himself up, even though I believe he could have gotten himself up from the body shot. Maybe he wouldn't have made it through the round. Maybe it hurt a lot, but that's not really so much the concern. It's the way he felt he was robbed of the fight that convinced him to continue fighting with half measures, with half-assed, half-stepping measures. I think that part is quit. Now, here's the other thing. The counter argument to that is this: is Alexander Usyk weak to the body? And when he took those 5 minutes, was in it he quitting? I mean, he refused to get up from otherwise what looked to me to be a questionable but still fair punch. Is Alexander Usyk a quitter?
No, he is not a quitter.
Okay, well there you go. I like those straight up and down answers.
Yeah, because he's not a
you know,
quitter. I can't even like. I'm not gonna harp my, like it's obvious, bro. He's the best of his, like one of the best of his generation, man. He ain't no quitter, man. It's really Dubois, and we can't hide the fact that he does have a puncher's chance to the body, and maybe even to the head. Maybe he can wobble him, But this is heavyweight division, man, and I think Dubois just he just doesn't have that IQ, man. Like his IQ is just just not all there, So I think he's that power really carried him through. He does have an amateur pedigree, but he was only able to make it past a certain level in the amateurs, But he's just a big ass dude, um, with a good with some good power,
mhm.
that's capable of knocking anyone out. He's a threat because of that to anyone.
Yeah, Daniel Dubois is in a tear. His resume in the past few fights is as good as anybody's. As good as Anthony Joshua's, as good as Alexander Usyk's, and even better than Tyson Fury. He had after he lost to Joe Joyce, he took on an undefeated fighter by the name of Trevor Bryan, 22 wins, 0 losses. He took on Kevin Lerena, who's actually going to be fighting on the undercard. He's probably fighting right now. Kevin Lerena, he had a record of 28 wins, 1 loss. He beat that guy. He lost to Alexander Usyk. He beat undefeated Jarrell Miller, 26-0. He beat Philip Hergovic, undefeated fighter, very tough, very aggressive, uh, person that people thought Hergovic would actually beat. Daniel Dubois, 17-0. He beat that guy. He destroyed Anthony Joshua, and now he's fighting Usyk again. Daniel Dubois has an incredible record in of victories, bro. He's coming with the intention to win, bro. I I want Danny Dubois to win. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. I want Danny Dubois to win.
Mm. Yeah, I let's see, because Usyk is running out of options, right?
Uh-huh.
Um, but the thing is, I don't want. Oh man, this is the thing. Usyk, I mean, Dubai's already getting paid, man. This 80 million dollars, bro. Like he dropped out of a fight with Joseph Parker. Now I feel away, you know. Like I want Joseph Parker to kind of get his get back.
Hmm.
Um, he has less of a chance with Usyk, if Usyk wins. But if Dubai wins, like I want that for Joseph Parker, pretty much. You know, I would just, I just hate going against Usyk. You know, because um, he's one of the best, bro. I'd hate to see him retire off on a loss. You know,
I would
like
love to see him retire in the loss.
nah, but
That's the
like,
indication. That's the indication that you need to walk out the sport. You've already achieved everything. You lost. That's a telltale sign that
but
it's
it's
all
like,
downhill from there.
but it's like a milestone that I want to see complete. You know, and we haven't seen that in our in my life at least. You know, because I feel like Lennox Lewis. I keep saying this. Lennox Lewis is the best heavyweight because he got his get back against everybody, and he
Mhm.
left.
Yep.
He left the sport um unscathed, you know, and he's considered one of the greats, you know, and I feel like a lot of people were able to get what's the word I'm looking for? Justification? Nah, yeah. Like very like people, a lot of people's minds were like Lennox is the best heavyweight like of our generation, and it's not even a question. I want that to be unquestioned, you know, because it's going to be debated who's going to be the best, like Usyk, Fury, and I'm just talking about the 2000s, right? Klitschko's, um, you know, like we're not gonna have that clear answer if Dubois wins, you know. I
Mhm.
want that. I want to say like, nah, Usyk is the best heavyweight of our generation, like since Lennox Lewis, you know, and I want that. Like, I just hate that, you know, perfect record to go away because he's not cocky. He's not flamboyant. He's not flashing his money. He's like rich as hell right now. And he still has not flexed it or nothing. He hasn't, you know, he hasn't, like, he's man of the people almost, bro. And I root for people like that. And Daniel Dubai is a good dude. It's just, he don't stand for, like, he does stand for something, I mean, but, you know, he's a simple man, you know, and I want him to have his greatness too, but not against Usyk. You know, like um, I want Dubai to clean up Usyk's leftovers, and he can have um his little run at heavyweight. You know, because Usyk, yeah, he's almost at the finish line, bro. He's almost at the finish line, and he can call himself like I'm the best, even though he's not that type of dude. I want to be able to say it for him, you know. But I don't want I want Usyk to win, bro. I don't have no money on it, so just letting you know how I feel about it, you know, because that's yeah. I just
And how come you don't have any money on it?
because I'm nervous. I'm nervous for Usyk, you know. And I don't know, you know, because I feel like Dubai quit, bro. Like he quit in that last fight, and it should have gone the distance, you know. So that's what kind of makes it a little harder to bet, you know. So I'm gonna just be a spectator. I'm gonna watch it. I'm not sure if it's on right now. I think it's almost on, bro. But are you watching it?
No, I don't. I can't pay for it.
Okay, you can stream it though.
I don't do that, bro. But I appreciate the offer.
Hey man,
no,
so what I did is I sent you the link. Just click it.
okay. I'll see what I do, bro. I'll see. I don't know. That's
It's not a porn site, bro. Relax.
no, no, no. um, yeah. Man, you sent me something then.
Oh no, I was just I will though.
You were testing me. You were testing me.
Yeah, yeah, I will.
Well, look, check if the fight is on, and then
Yeah, I'll send it to you right now. But yeah, it's
yeah,
I'll text it. I'll text it to you.
yeah,
Yeah.
and well, listen, we'll catch up later on. We'll decide if we go to your pad or we'll go to my folks' pad to watch the fights. But man,
You know,
uh,
let me add something real quick. The
Yeah,
reason also it's good that you didn't pay for this because the undercard
was
was
trash.
trash, bro. You know
Oh, I
who's
know, bro. I know. It was 7 fights of trash.
yeah, you know who's fighting right now? Okoli as a co-main.
He's fighting Lerena. I think
Yeah,
that's good. That's going to be a good fight.
yeah, but that's not
Pay per view.
co-main.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
Well, it's
it
the
could
for a
be pay per
belt.
view. It could be pay per view, but just like it could have been like a little lower on the order. Like give me a championship bout right here in the
Yeah.
co-main.
Yeah, this fight was all like there was so many Ukrainian fighters, bro. It was like basically, oh, let's kiss the Ukraine's butt again because Ukraine is going to war against Russia. It was the same thing, bro, that they've done before. Like there was
Mm,
this guy named Larin, who's this like 6'4" fighter fighting at 154. He's incredibly tall. A tall order is hard for you to hit this guy, and he's very good because he comes from that Ukrainian school of boxing, and
mm,
he trains with both. The Usyk and Lomachenko camp. But yeah, it's. I mean, look, none of what I saw here indicated that we should have paid that kind of money. The good thing about it, though, Dream, I have good news for you.
mm,
Turkey Al Sheikh is saying that Riyadh season. I'm not too sure if you heard about this. Riyadh season is coming to an end on the pay-per-view model after August. After August, Turkey Al Sheikh says that Moses Itauma and Dylan White's last fight will be for pay-per-view. Afterwards, everything on the zone that they offer to the Riyadh season will come at no cost. So this is the last straw for Turki Al Sheikh himself. He
mm.
wants to grow the sport. He wants to make these fighters so famous and renowned that he's not going to create a paywall over these fighters anymore. He doesn't care about the money. We already knew he didn't care about the money. None of the events that he's held have
Mm,
garnished him any money at all.
mm.
Every fight that he's made has been a loss of revenue, overpaying inflated prices for fighters, and then they don't live up. And even when they do live up, the people don't pay the pay-per-view numbers. He's never broken numbers. He's never sold over 500. Maybe with Canelo he did, but otherwise he's never been able to make a profit out of this. He's losing money because he's wanting to watch these fights. So he wants you to watch the fights. The pay-per-view model on the zone is going to be over as far as Riyadh season starts in August, right? Now, whether or not Eddie Hearn, he's going to have his own pay-per-view events or whatever, that's on Eddie. But as far as Riyadh season in Turkey is involved, he's not going to have pay-per-views on the zone anymore. It's over. Maybe he'll have it for Netflix or whatever, but I doubt it because even the last fight and even Canelo's fight, Amanda Serrano versus Katie Taylor was not a pay-per-view event. Canelo, Saul Santos Alvarez Barragan, Canelo versus Terence Crawford is not going to be in a pay-per-view event. I think he's done with it, bro. So I know this fight you weren't going to pay for it, but I'm happy to say that we're no longer going to pay for these mega events anytime soon. And Dream, just to wrap up this year live, I just wanted to wish Campbell Hatton a good life. Campbell Hatton, the son of Ricky Hatton, has
Nephew.
this. No, no, Campbell is Ricky's son. Look, there's
Flint?
another. Yeah, there's another Hatton. The other Hatton, I forget what his name is, but that's Hatton. Um, Matthew Hatton, I think that's what his name is. That's Ricky Hatton's brother. Um, Campbell Hatton is Ricky Hatton's son. He retired just a week ago at the age of 24 with a record of 14-2 and I think about five knockouts. He retired. Why? Because apparently he couldn't beat one fighter,
Mm,
right? He fought a guy named James
mm,
Flint, a, a regional fighter from Ireland. It is sort of like where Hatton is from, and he couldn't beat him. It was a very good, hard fight for Hatton. If I'm not mistaken, Flint was 30, Hatton was 23. It was a very tough fight. It looked very close to a draw, but Flint took it. Eddie Hearn was very critical of Hatton. He said that Campbell should take some softer touches and evaluate whether or not he wanted to fight. And I was like, man, you're being harsh, bro. He just fought a dude with way more experience, and this guy
But
only
they
has
probably
about
had they probably had like conversations internally and said like, well, if you're getting mine's not in the game anymore, let me know, you know. And then he
Yeah,
goes, all right.
yeah,
I'll let you know.
yeah. But it wasn't that. It was just, Hatton never had an amateur career.
Mhm. Which would
He
have been
didn't.
useful, you know,
It
like he,
absolutely.
yeah,
And I think once they, these matchmaker guys, these scouts, they have a very keen eye, right? They look at fighters and they're like, oh yeah, this guy's good, this guy's a star, and then they just see some, they're like, Campbell Hatton, okay, he'll never be a champ, he'll be a regional fighter, and he's the son of Ricky Hatton, so we can sell him, right? And then when he lost that first fight, they're like, oh, hmm, he's not ready to step up,
yeah,
and he lost to this year guy. And maybe because that's what the zone is the zone is mostly a information company more so than an entertainment company. They get a lot of information of stats, viewership, and things of that sort. They're probably like, bro, nobody watched this fight, we're not gonna make money. Let me have that conversation with Campbell and say, hey bro, maybe this is not for you. So I was like, but still bro, that's harsh. Then he went and got himself another pickup fight. He got that win, and then he came back to rematch Flint again, and he was unable to beat Flint. Now we talked about it even in this year live, right? Sometimes a fighter has your number. I don't think Campbell Hatton should have retired just because he couldn't beat the same man. Now, if you had
yeah.
lost to, let's say, the same guy, and then you fought another guy, and then you lost to that guy, and then you lost to another guy, okay, guess what? There's a lot of fighters with those kind of records. Campbell Hatton does not
And
have to retire just because he loses.
and maybe he just didn't do good in the gym, bro. Like maybe he just kept getting beat up in the in sparring or something. Even though sparring is supposed
There
to
you
be where
go.
you learn, even though
Uh huh.
sparring is supposed to be where you learn,
Uh huh.
um, ha- the fact that you lose against the same guy twice isn't a good enough reason to retire. But you it all starts in training camp. It all starts at home. You know,
So they
like that.
see other stuff that we don't, right?
Yeah, yeah. That's why it doesn't make sense. The only way it would make sense is if they see something in training where a um like we don't see you even getting to this level, and by the time you
Mhm.
get to that level, how damaged are you going to be, you know?
True, true.
And is it going to, and how worth it was it, you know, uh for the money, and all that damage you have, because he was taking punishment, and he cannot, even in his wins, he takes punishment, bro, and he just um and even if you take punishment, you got to be a dog. You got to really, really want it, you know, because when you're hurt, that's when you kind of recalibrate, or like you're like you remind yourself why you're doing it, you know,
Mhm,
and
mhm.
sometimes you remind yourself how easy it was before you started boxing, and that's where you kind of lose it a little bit, you know. And that's the only way it makes sense to me, because Campbell Hatton is a name. He was getting expedited if he looked decent enough to get to that level, you know. Just,
Exactly,
you know,
exactly.
if he was just decent enough to get these wins and go the distance, he didn't have to knock out nobody. He was already a name, you
Yep.
know. So it has to be because of that. It has to be because that just he was getting hit
There
too
was
much.
stuff going on
Yeah,
in the sparring session, stuff going on in the gym
outside of the
that
ring.
had these promoters, these managers question whether or not this guy should take boxing seriously.
Hmm.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah,
nah.
I agree. I agree. There had to have been something else because if I had an opportunity to promote or manage the career of the son of a champion like Ricky Hatton in Ireland in the UK, trust me, I would pad his record. I would do stuff. But I think that's what happened, right? When he fought James Flint, I don't think James Flint had more than one loss, bro. And he was like 6 7 years, professional, way longer than Flynn, than
Mhm.
Campbell. It was just like they were expediting him on name recognition alone, and I think that's the problem, right? They should have just stepped him up slower. They should have been more realistic, and he was fun, bro. He's a very fun, limited fighter that throws a lot of punches and takes punches back, right? I mean, that's most Mexican fighters. That's most anybody fighters really, and we don't see Mexicans being told to quit just because of that. I thought it was rude. I thought Ricky Hatton should, because Ricky Hatton also had something to say. Ricky Hatton said no, Campo won't fight again. He said about his son. He said, I told my son, listen, son, you should be very proud of yourself. You have given it a go. But if you had lost your mojo, if you have lost your mojo, you need to get out. You can't play boxing. You can play any other sport. So I advised him, and now he is doing solar panels. Like, this is serious, bro. Like,
Yeah, you can't play, bro. You can't play this. Yeah, Campbell is just a name. I mean, uh, like I think more and more fighters should question themselves because I mean, not question themselves like in a bad way, but I'm saying question themselves like, how am I gonna make money after this? You know, and can I
true,
make
true.
more? Can I make more of it than boxing? Do I love boxing more than I love money? You know, you
True.
gotta ask yourself these things. It's like, dude, I asked myself that when I was working, and I was like, dude, I'm a solar installer, and I make good money in my head. You know, I was like, and I seen my uncles fighting, and they were just getting paid like a little bit, man. And I was just like, man, that was like, that's like,
$3,000 for wars, right?
yeah, I'm like, damn, man, that's like two checks of mine. Like, I don't know, like, you know, before, and I was like, then and I'll go to the gym, get punched in the face. I'm like, so when am I gonna fight? You know, oh, 8 months. Oh, fuck. You know, because I gotta get ready, you know, and I gotta lose weight, you know. So it's like, okay, this is, you know, this is tough, you know, but I do love the fact that it keeps me in shape, you know, so it's okay to do that and not fight, you know. But because I still love the game, I still love to punch the bag because of what it does to me, what the benefits of it, you know. So yeah, it's good that Campbell decided to do it. Maybe he found something, some other ways to make money. Maybe he made enough money right here to where he can be like, hey, I must, you know, I'm gonna start a business or whatever the case is, you know. So yeah, man, that's all I got to say. I think uh I think we touched everything, huh? Like as far as like the undercard bouts and the because um I do think hold on. Don't hang up. I am re-logging. Okay, got you. Got you. Yeah, because I think we touched on everything. I'm checking right now on the crack streams right now to see if down in Dubai is fighting, you know. I gotta check on that real quick. Because I do know it was like the eighth round out of 10 rounds in that Lawrence Okoli fight, or however you say his name. Um, damn it, how's my phone? It's not working. Um, so yeah, man, I think germ. I have germs, but I think Speed is coming back right now. He just re-logging in. I don't know what happened with him. Um, so yeah, dude, I think these fights are good. Lawrence Okoli, he just won by unanimous decision right now. So that main event, Usyk versus Dubai is up next.
Hey, can you hear me, bro?
Yep, I hear you loud and clear.
Okay. It was stupid, bro. My phone died out.
I
so,
knew it. That's all I was trying to.
yeah. so, yeah. We're gonna hop off already, right? But I just wanted to give this last credit right here to Campbell Hatton. You know what, guys? Regardless of whether or not any of these fighters have skill or not, right? We have to respect the courage it takes to fight. It's not easy, right? Any man that's man at all, and should be able to throw a 1-2 in any shape or form, right? A good man knows how to throw a 1-2, but a better man trains to throw a 1-2. And the boxers, they sweat every day, guys. I'm talking about 2, 3 hour, even longer days, right? In order to perfect the mastery of throwing a simple 1-2 combination and going at it for minutes, guys. If you've never stepped into the ring, just I dare you, go 3 minute, or in fact, you know what? Let's start you off. Just give me 2 rounds of 2 minutes each, like the women do, and against somebody that knows how to throw punches, or even somebody that doesn't know how to throw punches like you. Just go in there. Give me 4 total minutes, and you'll be winded by the first minute. You'll be absolutely winded. You won't believe how tired you are. You won't know how hard it is not until you try it. So respect to Campbell Hatton, and furthermore, let's give respect to another fighter who just a week ago passed away. You know, Pedro Antonio Tony Rodriguez. He was found dead in his hotel room on Sunday morning. He was a 37-year-old Mexican from the state of Durango. He last fought in Phoenix, Arizona, with an undefeated fighter by the name of Philip Vela. Philip Vela was a guy that was coming up the ranks of the amateurs. I think he made a run to start for the U.S. Olympic team. He had a record of 4-0. When he fought this Mexican, he had a record of 3-0. He only fought a six-rounder, guys. And after the fight, like some fighters are what to do, right? They all Vela and Tony Rodriguez, they were gonna get together along with the other fighters that had a fight that weekend. They said, you know what, guys, let's go have dinner. You know, because just because you fight doesn't mean they're your enemies, guys. This is a profession. Yes, it's your life at stake, but at the end of the day, once you wrap it up, you become blood brothers, right? And they said, okay, let's all get together. 37-year-old Gomez Palacio from Durango, Mexico said, all right, let's go. They were gonna go out to Phoenix to get dinner with some of the other boxers on the card, and they were waiting, and they were waiting, and they got tired of waiting because he never showed up, and they went to dinner.
Mm,
Hotel staff found him responseless in his room.
mm,
He last called his wife to let him know that he was going to go out with some of the fighters. He was going to go out with some of them to have dinner, and he said, I'll be back soon. He made that video call. Guys, he made a video call. He called his wife on video. Must have seemed pretty good, right? And he was getting ready to go to dinner, and he died. On a six-round fight, he died. Campbell Hatton, thank you very much for this sacrifice, your sacrifice to the sport for our entertainment. But of course, to Pedro Antonio Tony Rodriguez, thank you for the ultimate sacrifice. You perished doing something that you loved, obviously. You tested another fighter, you lost it, and guess what? We all die, right?
mm.
Win or lose in life, we all die. But you did what you wanted to do. You still were able to find a way to make friends, even with the person that beat you and eventually took your life. For that, we commend you. This sport is a hellacious sport, guys. I can't even begin to express how difficult this sport is, and because of that,
Salacious
we
because no
appreciate.
excuses. You know, if you get a broken jaw, you get a broken jaw. If you quit, you quit. You know, it's like
Yeah, well, so so I'm trying to say yes. To some extent, you're right. Even though you're being sarcastic, yes, Daniel Dubois, you get our respect, bro. You get our respect. Um, every fighter that goes under Daniel Dubois, Naoya Inoue, any of these fighters, every single one of you guys has our respect because God knows I wouldn't do it. God knows you try to do it, Dream, but you just didn't do it. So I just wanted to make sure we took a little time of our day just to show our appreciation to some of these fighters that make sacrifices and sometimes the ultimate sacrifice for our entertainment. Dream, it's been fun. We were able to catch up, chat it up for a good little minute. Um, let's do it soon enough again, and let's catch up, bro. I will hit you up later on to see where we watch the fights. But man, it should be a hellacious weekend of fighting. I threw a vicious one too. Just ask my wife, the Mexican, she says.
mm,
Oh man,
And the
yeah, yeah,
the the Pacquiao card starts at 5 or 4, right?
yeah. The undercard start. Yeah, guys. Okay, so most of these fights have preliminaries, guys. 1 hour or so fights before the main event starts. You should go to the PBC YouTube channel or their Facebook to get access to the preliminaries. You should similarly have some preliminaries on the Matchroom or the Zone channels on YouTube for the Bam Bam Rodriguez versus Kafu Fights Tonight. So if you don't have the money, you don't have the scratch to expend on these fights,
Just
or
go to
you can't even,
crackstreams.com.
or you can do that. I'm not gonna judge you because I don't see you, bro. I don't know your situation, but I feel weird robbing people of their livelihoods or their opportunities, right? But anyways, right, we're not gonna get there. I'm not gonna judge you. We're just here to enjoy the fights. So I do hope we catch up later on. I do hope you enjoy the fights with your loved ones. Please take care of yourself. I hope you are doing well of health and staying sane of mind for Dream and
You broke out a
and
little
of
bit.
course homie Ricky, the Mexican G, and everybody else. Yeah, for the homie Ricky, the Mexican G, Mr. Vince Vargas, for everybody else that hopped on here today, Jaime Padilla, everybody here. I wish you the best. Tell everybody that you love them. And until then, engage.
Isn't it disengage?
Well, engage means to interact with us, and
Let me
engage
read it.
comes from so okay. So Spock, a character, my favorite character in Star Trek. He has the Vulcan hand salute, right? Which basically means live long and prosper, which is basically that little hand thing that I throw, right? Which is, it's like, it looks almost like a split finger chinga tu madre. That kind of there, right there.
Mhm.
Like, it's like a split finger.
Yeah.
Bad word, but it's not, bro. It means something good. It means live long and prosper, right? And it's right here. That little hand gesture means live long and prosper. But he never actually said live long and prosper. He would just throw his hand salute, which meant that whenever he was saluting, other life forms, because that's what Captain Kirk and Lieutenant Spock would do. They would go to other planets to meet life forms and engage them. Engage meant to interact with them and do that. Um, that's what he would start off by saluting them, like, "Hey, live long and prosper," or "Goodbye, live long and prosper." The same thing, sort of like aloha or whatever, right? Um, and in one episode, he stated something else. Like they were gonna blast off, right? Instead of saying blast off, or if Spock said engage. I think it was actually Captain Kirk that said engage, which meant we're gonna go at it full force, right? We're gonna just go at it. So in life, please engage, guys. Engage. That's what it meant. Engage with life. Do something with yourself. Do something with others. That's what I meant to say. Man,
Yeah.
yeah, that's geeky stuff, bro. That's why I don't
Okay.
criticize, Bam Rodriguez for being such a geek.
Yeah.
Dream, you're a good person to talk to, bro. Thank you for spending the time.
Yep. All right, man. I'll
Yeah,
talk to you
man.
later.
Alrighty then.
All right, man. See you later.
Peace.
Peace.